take projection.
Welcome everybody to Take It On Sports. I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, how you doing, man?
I am good. How are you today, sir?
I'm pretty good, man. Pretty good. Solid weekend of football.
Hell,
A little
definitely.
tired. Had a late night of work last night. A little crazy
Okay.
little event, but yeah, it was good. Crazy day yesterday. Crazy day today, kind of in the NFL.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. I guess we'll start with the Tide this week. We can start with them. 34 to nothing was the final score. A good
That'll
shutout
work.
by the defense. Looked good. Offense struggled early. Looked real bad early, in fact. But got going
Yeah.
in the second half. Really went to the run game, which we've been asking for a while. Which a lot of Bama fans have
I think everybody's
been
been
asking
asking
for a
about it.
while. Yeah. Let their backs run. But let's focus on the defense first. Shutout. A rare thing in
Yeah,
football these days, especially a college
it
game.
is.
Is that probably the best game they played all season? You think, even if it's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of a rough, Missouri's offense has been hurt a lot.
Yeah. Oh, by far. I mean, they got after it. You know, they all four quarters, got after it. Seemed to have a good energy. And then, they really had that pride in making sure they got that shutout.
Mm,
That fourth and goal, when they were like the 1 foot line and we held them. I mean, that was huge.
mm,
I think just for the confidence of the team, just
mm-hmm.
because that used to be the thing. Like we used to pride ourselves with getting shutouts and giving up points.
Yeah.
That used to be a thing. We'd be pissed off. We could be up 56-0, and we'd be pissed off giving up a touchdown late. So,
Mm-hmm.
that was really the pride of the team. But I really like the effort there. Some of it may have been, of course, that they're a little banged up there. Um, Brady was Brady Cook was banged up. Of course, the running back was out. At the same time, I mean, it's not like they had the worst guy coming into the game. I mean, Drew Pine, played in Notre Dame for whatever
Mm-hmm.
that's worth. I mean, it was, in a way not a true backup in the sense. I mean, he had actual NFL, college football experience at a high level. So I mean, it's not the worst of the worst. Just a nobody in the backup, but. I think yesterday was more about us and what we did, and I thought the defense definitely looked as good as it's looked all year. You know, and it was good to see. They all talked about getting back to basics and doing basic things after the Tennessee game and the week that brought, and seemed to live up to it a little bit, and hopefully, they were continue to improve and get some rest over the bye week and get ready for the November stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned the shutout. We took a timeout to put the starters back in to preserve it too, and they got it. It got the
Yeah,
big hold. Kane Womack was hyped. Came way out on the field.
yeah, good.
To
That's
meet his
good.
players. Yeah.
Not a guy that shows a lot of emotion a lot, so I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you like when the coaches are just as pumped as the
Yeah.
players are. There was, I think, a good shot from behind the end zone. Malachi Moore was really pumped.
Oh yeah,
Another great game for him, man. Since that
it
Vandy game,
was.
he has been on a tear.
Yeah.
And it was his interception that was the first turnover of the day that really kind of
Kind
started the offense. Defense did its job again, got
of.
the
Yeah.
offense in good positions in the plus side of the field. And after a struggle in the first half with just two field goals, they got the touchdown after that Moore interception, and then they just went to the ground. I think the biggest plus out of this game, beside the shutout and no turnovers from the offense, at
Exactly.
least was that, and then the team seemed to make adjustments at halftime. What
Yeah.
wasn't working in the first half on offense, we turned it around. We stuck to the backs more in the running game. We
Yeah.
simplified the passing game for Jalen.
Yeah.
Not great numbers, but no, like I said, no turnovers. He was pretty efficient with the ball.
It
Still,
was.
maybe missed a throw or two, but
Couple misses, but
yeah, but he still looks hurt, man. He's got to be hurt. We just don't know it.
something's off.
He doesn't have that burst on his runs too. He did have a
Yes,
touchdown run, but and it was a good play. Started left, the hole closed up. He pivoted,
yes, but
reversed field and scored.
yeah. He obviously felt a little bit more comfortable with it because he didn't. He didn't hesitate as much with running the ball, so that was good to see.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure if it was a confidence thing, an injury thing, but uh, yeah, I mean, if you're injured and that, if it's bad enough and you're that type of player, of course, it's gonna throw your confidence off a little bit because you don't want to, have that season-ending type injury. So it's in your head some.
yeah,
But yeah, some of his throws a little off, but I don't think we have to have Jalen be perfect. I think the main thing we have to have is him play smart football,
hmm
not throw interceptions, not force things that aren't there. And he didn't do that too much yesterday, which was good to see. Um, Other thing I like to see is that Bernard's becoming of course Ryan Williams will always be the number one guy as far as just who he is, but Bernard's really coming into his own the last 3 or 4 games. He's had like 70, 80 yards every game. So I like the he's a kind of in a dependable role.
yeah.
That
That's what I was going to say. He's
Jalen's
becoming like
building confidence with.
dependable target for Jalen. Yeah,
Yeah,
someone that he can check down to, or someone he can find for good
yeah,
third down, like a key play. And he's
right.
a tough runner after the catch.
He is.
In a different way that Ryan Williams has that burst and that
Yeah,
athleticism to make spectacular plays.
he is more
Bern-
physical.
yeah, Bernard, he's not afraid to lower his shoulder and go right at a guy and get those extra 2 to 3 yards to get past the
Yeah,
sticks. But yeah, loved it. Like you said with Milrow, we just got to play smart. And the coaches seem to tailor the game plan better too.
yeah.
We didn't really take any deep shots that I could remember.
No.
But again, that I think kind of speaks to maybe that he's fighting some lower body injury because his balls
Right.
also didn't have that kind of zip on them they usually do. But
No.
maybe a great time for a bye week coming up before a big
Oh, for
LSU
sure.
game
Yeah.
and Baton Rouge as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I really liked
And
it. A couple of great runs. Jan Miller with that touchdown run at the end of the first half, and then Justice Haynes run. Oh my
oh,
lord, just
my goodness.
put the head down, ran. Oh, I mean, met that Missouri defender and just
My
demolished
goodness.
him. Oh, yeah, exactly. You heard it. I mean, when you hear those pads popping on the broadcast, that's really something.
Yeah, yeah. You love to see it because that for the longest that was our DNA. So
Hmm
it's, of course we've evolved and we're not gonna see it as much, but it's good to see it time to time again. Just tough running, and we saw some of that, and even at the end with the young guy. Richard, he had a great
Oh,
great
huge
run
run,
at the
yeah.
end. Great run at the end there, but I mean, well, we almost have 250 on the ground yesterday. I mean,
Oh, it
combined
was
with
even bigger. It
everybody,
was 278, I think. It was almost 300.
270.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. That
so
young
a
Richard
big
Young,
day.
a
I
highly
mean,
touted prospect. Yeah, and he
right,
got that big run.
big run. Just kind of shows you what he can be. I know he was banged up a little bit early in the season, but when he's healthy and we use him, I mean, just kind of what he can be there. So I mean, overall, I mean, I thought it was about as good as what you can expect. I mean, it was a long week going into there. A lot of talking. A lot of media, a lot of rumors going around about a lot of things in the locker room, and you're like, my goodness, and
Yeah.
we had you know, true. Who knows what's you know, a lot gets said when teams lose, and it didn't help too. AJ McCarron's going in on Jalen on the shows, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I know. I mean, that's AJ's style. I mean, he's done that before, but I'm just like, dude, like, what, like, dude, just like. It'd be way more beneficial if you just talk to Jalen. Just have a
hmm
personal conversation with him. You don't have to kill him on the on the thing on a
Yeah.
podcast or a radio show. I was
Or
like,
even
man,
if you're gonna, it's fair to have criticism, but constructive.
talk
You
about
got to be constructive
or
criticism.
talk about it, or just talk about the team in general. You don't have
Yeah.
to single anybody out. You
Yeah,
know.
but a good win for the Tide.
Yeah, for sure.
Homecoming, big shutout. Like we said, big shutout.
Which,
Offense really turned the corner in the second half,
yeah.
and now you go into the
Hopefully, we
bye
just build
week.
off that.
Yeah, exactly. You hopefully you take what you did well and you build off that.
Yeah.
You look at what you're still struggling with and still keep trying to find ways to fix that, and
Yeah.
then you rest up. That's big key too. Get some guys
Yeah.
healthier.
Get some for
And
sure.
hey, like we said, a big game against an LSU
A
team.
huge game. At
Huge
this point,
game.
it's
Mhm.
elimination game more or less for both.
Yeah, no, it is a playoff elimination game for sure. With LSU went into College Station last night, lost to A&M.
Oof.
Yeah, and kind of, yeah, we can go ahead and move on that unless you got anything else in
Yeah.
the Bama game. Yeah,
No, I think
yeah,
we're good.
yeah.
I,
So
I would
LSU last.
say,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, one thing. If you watched the LSU game and you saw how well A&M ran the football with the quarterback, once they made
Hmm.
that switch, hopefully Jalen gets healthy and they're looking at that because, man, I mean, he had big numbers last year against that LSU uh, defense on the ground, and looks like that possibility might be there again this year.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and put some stuff in for guys like Kendrick Law to get some end rounds
Oh,
or some outside runs, and then
because that running that
let Justice and Jam take it up the
yeah,
middle.
because it looks like they still not very good against the run.
No, yeah, and that was their previous loss. They were on that win streak since the opening loss to USC, but that's how USC beat them. They just kind of lined up and ran it.
Yep,
So yeah, hopefully coaching staff, I'm sure they'll pay attention to that,
I'm
and
sure
then
they have. Yeah.
hopefully Kane Womack and the defense had his staff have something for that LSU offense, which looked good. I honestly, like I said, I worked a late night event last night, so when I
Hmm.
actually left to go work that, LSU was up like at least 10. I think it was like
Yeah, they were
17-7.
17-7. Yeah.
And with I didn't really get a chance to check the score until later. When I checked it was when A&M was close to the end. I'm like, oh man,
Started for yeah,
I was like, what happened here?
yeah. They made that quarterback switch, and that seemed to change the whole game. Because once again, I mean, it seemed they made that switch to Connor Wegman was off again, and Marcel Reed just the energy they needed, and
Hmm.
he ran through them there. They were they have a heck of running back themselves at A&M. And man, they got after Nussmeyer.
Yeah, they
Lady
did.
Moss had a big day, and then I think Nuss had what three or four picks. Not not his best, and anytime BK is crashing out on the sideline going crazy, it's a great. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
Uh,
he man, that dude's he's got a switch for sure. Yeah, and that's like you said, that's some great adjustments made by that A&M staff. Like you
oh
said,
yeah,
that switch at quarterback was everything, and that on defensively, Mike Elko, he's a defensive minded guy, and his staff they figured out what Nussbaum and Brian Kelly's offense was doing to beat them, and they shut it down.
yeah, shut it down. And
Um,
really, I mean, kudos to A&M in general because I mean, I don't think if this year if A&M had just gone got 6 to 7 wins and going to a bowl game, I think that was enough in year one considering all the issues that have transpired. The last part of Jimbo's tenure there. But man, the fact that they're in first place by themselves alone in the SEC going into November, that's something
mhm.
serious. And you look at their schedule. It's not the most daunting schedule. I mean, and you gotta look at man, you gotta think that last game of the season.
That is setting up to be a
I-
big one.
Oh, man, it was huge before especially for the Aggies,
Mm,
but
mhm.
now, whew,
Well,
that
yeah,
could
it was
be
huge. It was huge in a rivalry sense, and then
yeah,
no one really thought like, oh, maybe it would be a roadblock or a speed bump for Texas on
yeah
their
for
way to a
Texas.
possible
But
SEC
now,
title, but now it's looking.
it's a bigger.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger every week, and at
Hmm.
this point, you almost want to make sure. Hopefully, they're both where have the same records at that point because I think we all want to see it. I mean, we wanted to see it before, but now with what the possibilities it could have for the SEC, the playoff, everything. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to see that. I mean, going into Texas, we can go ahead and talk on them too.
Yeah.
They another there were five games between ranked opponents yesterday. Texas went into Nashville and
Mm.
led most of the game against Vandy,
Yeah.
but the Doors, they did not make it easy on them, especially in the
No,
end. There, they
they hung around.
hung around. Texas also gets a bye next week, and then they have Florida at Arkansas, Kentucky before they go to College Station. So definitely uh,
It's man. I
winnable game.
mean,
All games
all
Texas
winnable
would be
games.
favored
Yeah,
easily in. Yeah. Um,
all winnable games. So I mean, but yeah, I mean Texas. I mean, you kind of knew. I mean, the Nashville's just. I mean, they're just a good. They're a good team right now.
mhm,
So you knew Texas was gonna be in a battle.
mhm.
But I mean, Texas knew they were going to be in a battle. I mean, Quinn Ewers had a pretty solid day, though. He was looked much better there.
Yeah, you still
But
probably you can see some effects of his injury still,
right,
but yeah, a much better day against that Vanderbilt defense, and the Texas defense really did a good job with Vandy's offense and
they did.
Diego Pavia, especially
Yeah,
late in that game. There's an ugly interception he threw on a fourth down play. You
yeah,
thought
the fourth down one.
maybe Vandy should have punted it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were on their own 30 or something. Like it wasn't like they were no man's land for
Well,
real.
and
Like
there was what like 4 minutes left or something when it
yeah,
happened too. So there was.
I mean the defense had done. I thought overall
Mhm.
solid job there. But yeah, I mean it was definitely back and forth. That's one thing, man. I mean, Vandy's one of those teams. If you let them hang around, it's tough because they're great. I mean, this is definitely not anybody else, Vanderbilt. This is definitely you gotta take them seriously, and you hopefully, you would think with their schedule. I mean, they're definitely gonna be a bowl bound team. I mean, they're sitting at 5-3 now. They go
Mhm.
to Auburn, South Carolina. Uh, Hopefully get it before then, because the last two will be a little tough going to LSU and then playing Tennessee at the end. But man, yeah, I mean, no one's in. I mean, it's not a gimme game at all for sure.
No.
And they're definitely they're gonna fight you, and they're not scared. That's the thing is like Vandy used to, they just lay down. Now they're not intimidated. They don't give a damn what your helmet says or who's coming into town
Mm.
anymore. They have a different attitude about them. So yeah, so they're building a heck of a culture there. I think Clark Lee has them going in the right direction. He had the perfect guy in Diego Pavia coming in.
Mhm.
Overall, it's just gonna be interesting to see can they keep that going. It's gonna be tough, but it's easier in today's world just because of the NIL transfer portal things of that nature. Even with their academic, requirements, in some ways, it's going to be easier for them to at least get that guy with the chip on their shoulder that can come in and be a work guy. So that'll
Mhm.
be good to. I don't know. Hopefully, they can keep it going. That that they're not. That they're going to at least be a middle of the tier. Someone you got to take serious. So a bowl team, and maybe every now and again slip in. Make a playoff appearance maybe, but at least a team that you want to hopefully make a bowl game every year.
Yeah, no, for sure, and it's a great job by Clark Lee and his staff this year because they were a lot of
Oh,
people had him
absolutely.
on the hop seat and
Yeah.
hot seat and possibly getting canned at some point in the year or after it. But
Yeah.
like
And
you said, they're
you
they're
know,
close. They're on the verge. If and that's pretty much it at Vandy. If you make a bowl game, you're pretty good.
you've done a hell of a job. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to think about outside those couple of years that James Franklin had, what in like
Mhm.
2013 and 14 before he went to Penn State when they won 8 or 9 games.
Mhm.
I mean, outside of that, I think that's like one of their only two winning seasons. Even when they had Jay Cutler that year, they took Florida to the limit. They were
They
five
got
and six that year.
the SEC refs screwed him against Florida.
Yeah,
I remember
but
that.
I'm saying, but they were they were a 5-6 team, and we
Yeah.
revered them as a solid team, and they were still not even at 500. So I mean, it just shows you the lack of history there, and that's what kills me too. Like when people, to say Clark Lee is on the hot seat, like you have to. look at things differently when you're at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tough in itself. Not, I mean, you're gonna have to. Not everybody's built for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have a certain type of coach. So I'm glad that he was able to get a Diego Pavia in there to build the culture and kind of be the player that he wants to be as a coach. So,
Mm-hmm.
because I think he's the right guy for the job, but it's tough. It's not easy. It's why so many have failed at it before. But you just have to have a little patience. And hopefully, this year shows that you can at least be competitive at Vandy, and hopefully it stays more consistent because you know you I just hate to see every year, them just getting run through. It's like
Yeah.
it's just not fun. Like I don't know.
But yeah, like you said, they tricky schedule, but
No.
definitely they've shown that they can win and compete with the best.
Oh,
So
for sure, for sure.
it'll be exciting to watch their final stretch. But let's
Oh,
move on to the
most
rest of the
definitely.
country. Some of those other ranked games, a couple blowouts too. Oregon routed Illinois. Notre Dame blew out Navy. Navy rough day for the middies.
Shocking.
Only two
Yeah, that
turnovers
was.
coming into the game and
Yeah,
six on the day yesterday. Couldn't hold on the
they
ball.
really.
5 fumbles.
Oof.
Yeah, it was
And they're usually not a team that makes mistakes, so
mm-mm. Yeah,
you
exactly.
know
With
they
with
don't
the
do anything
guys
to beat
there,
themselves. So
yeah. If any a team's going to be disciplined and limit their mistakes, it's the service academy teams. And uh,
yeah,
they it was just a rough day for Navy. Blaine and
it
I both
was.
had them in the pick 'em, and
Yeah,
we
the
both
plus.
swung
Yeah.
and missed. I mean, I just had a terrible day on that, but uh, yeah. But so a couple blowouts there.
Yeah.
Uh, I believe that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4,
But you
5. Yeah,
know
that
that
was the 5
that
games. So.
Oregon, I really thought Illinois might keep it a little bit close if they were able to slow it down, get into a
Mhm.
rock fight. That's the type of that's the because we knew that they couldn't go blow for blow with Oregon as far as explosiveness, but if they could
Yeah.
slow it down, and that's a good win for Oregon. They're not playing a different type of team, a real physical team, and just still able to you know dominate. That just kind of shows you that this is a different Oregon team. They're really I think they've gotten out of that that long stereotype of they're just soft and the physical teams, and they can beat that physical team, and I think that they're showing that they can hang with anybody. We saw that with
Hmm.
Ohio State, but we're still seeing that now. Being a good Illinois team, because I mean that's the Illinois team that's they're better than what they have been.
Hmm.
They
Absolutely.
they
Yeah.
they hung with Penn State there. They house Michigan. I mean, they dominated Michigan last week. So
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
did.
a pretty good team, and for them to pretty much get housed there in Eugene, I mean that's a very very good win for the Ducks. You look at their schedule. I think that the very good chance of going undefeated. That's tough in this. I mean, still some interesting games, but if there's a team that's going to go undefeated out of the Power Five, that might be the only one. I think they're the only undefeated one. Well, of course, Penn State still is, but
We'll see
yeah,
that next week. Yeah, but a
yeah,
good win
Penn
for the
State.
Nittany Lions yesterday too,
Yeah, it
going into
was.
Camp Randall and
Yeah,
pulling away with a backup quarterback too. So, uh,
yeah.
y-
That's it's a tough. Hopefully Drew Auer. I don't know how serious that injury was, but man, you
yeah,
think
you would
long
hope
term they
they get.
need
Of
him.
course, they that huge game they host Ohio State next week. That big noon uh, kickoff. So you do hope that he can come back and
Uh,
the big top
yeah,
five
for
matchup with
sure.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, no,
And
yeah. To your point on Oregon, for sure. That schedule, the West away, is very winnable. At Michigan next week, but obviously this is not last year's Michigan team.
this
And
is not
when
Michigan.
they,
Yeah,
they got a good win yesterday.
they did
Uh,
beat the
Again,
state.
in the state, a game. I thought State might come in there and get them, but Michigan did turn it around.
Hmm.
But against the better teams they played this year, they really haven't
No,
been
they're no,
all that
they're
great. And
not
so
good.
you figure Oregon can go in there and honestly kind of pull away from them, you would think. And then
Yeah.
they have Maryland at Wisconsin, and then they end with their rival at home against Washington, who's again another team that's down from last year. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think Oregon can at least get to that Big Ten title game unbeaten.
You would think so. I mean, great. It's been a crazy year, so things could happen. But man, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be shocked if they lose, but also at the same time, you'd be like, "Well, yep, no, it's kind of one of
Not
these
this is
years."
2024 season.
Yeah. But elsewhere, other games too. A thriller late night. SMU at Duke. Looked like the
Wow.
Blue Devils had them dead to rights. Easy chip shot
Jeez,
field goal as time
blocked it.
expired, and SMU blocked it. Got the touchdown in overtime, and then
Held on to
uh,
two.
yeah, stopped the two
Got the
point
2 point
conversion.
conversion. Yeah,
And then so great win for SMU. They continue to
big
roll
win.
along in the ACC there.
Yeah, I mean they need. I mean they look bad. I mean they played bad. I mean they had a lot of. I think they had three interceptions, fumbles. They had like 6 turnovers on the game. I mean, and that's kudos to Duke. I mean, but yeah, I mean they able to bounce back off that, and still sitting undefeated in the ACC. It's
Yeah,
crazy, but
and
yeah, great
crazy.
game
And
though.
then, speaking of undefeated teams overall, Indiana, BYU, Pitt, all still unbeaten.
Yeah,
Just great stories. Uh, you're
all
looking at,
got
the
all got big
ACC,
wins.
man.
The
You got
ACC is
Cl-
tough.
Miami unbeaten, Pitt unbeaten, Clemson having a great year after, the
Yeah,
Georgia loss,
no,
SMU unbeaten in conference.
four
Yeah.
four was it 4 teams undefeated in conference and 2 undefeated overall in the
Hmm.
ACC right now. Yikes! I
Yeah,
mean,
a
it's gonna be
conference
a
that
fun.
people thought, was
Was
kind of the
trash.
next one. Yeah, it was going to be
Yeah,
the next one to kind of get blown up. But,
yeah,
and then, even still right behind him, Virginia Tech having a solid year, only one loss in
yeah.
conference. Louisville, a team
Exactly.
that's always tough. So, yeah, and Duke, we mentioned Duke. Yeah, they do have 2 losses now, but that's still,
Yeah.
they're not a cakewalk.
No, they're
And
not.
all of that with the team that you thought was the premier team in the conference, Florida State, 1-7 now.
Yeah,
Just
you
oof,
know,
um, as they
Miami
lost
did
to
what they
rival.
needed to do.
Exactly. Florida
Wasn't the
State, had a
prettiest.
yeah, a little small period where Florida State started putting up a fight, as it looked early on like Miami was really gonna, like,
Yeah,
kind of one of those like biggest
yeah,
margin of victory in series history type wins. But then Florida
yeah.
State showed a little fight, but then Miami was just too good for them.
Too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
that's
then
one dude. Yeah, Miami. If they had lost that game, they would have never been able to live that down in the
oh yeah,
history of that
no, that would have
rivalry.
been
In this.
that might that might have been Miami fans might have run Cristobal out of town if he lost to
Oh
this
yeah, if they had lost.
Florida State team.
Oh, absolutely,
But
absolutely.
and like you said, yeah, kind of a, Cam Ward, quiet game for him. Only 208 yards, no touches, but Damian Martinez ran it really well.
Man,
148 on 15 carries.
he ran the ball like a beast.
Hmm.
Um, but some of the biggest thing I would probably say with this Miami schedule, I think they'll be fine. Duke on the road, I think they'll be fine at
Nah, Duke's in
next
Miami. Duke's a
yeah,
home game.
I'm saying that it's not,
Oh, I
but
see
it's
what you're
not
saying. I see what
it's
you're saying.
it's not,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
in Miami, so I think they'll be fine there. Georgia Tech, I don't, without their quarterback. I don't know how he'll be. But if he's not healthy, um, that they'll be
yeah.
fine.
And
Um,
that's a, the players really want a revenge game after
oh
last
yeah,
year's
for sure.
debacle.
After last year's, which kind of threw off the whole Miami season because they were winning games up
Hmm.
until then, and it kind of threw
Yeah.
them off their mojo. Um, you know, their toughest game though, that last game of the season. in
Mm-hmm.
in Syracuse. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, Syracuse up and down team for sure, but they they're not a cakewalk team.
No,
They did
that'll
get
be
kind of
interesting.
blown out. They
They
had a weird one
did.
on Thursday. Kyle McCord threw 3 picks, all
Yeah,
pick sixes all in the first
yeah,
half. He threw 5 interceptions
dude.
overall.
Like,
Um, threw it
like
64
my
times.
goodness. But yeah, I mean, we won't see a bad. He won't have a bad game like that again. I mean, that was wild. I mean,
That was
I
some
was
NCAA. That's
late
some
getting
college
in. Like,
football on Xbox stuff right there.
yeah, I mean, I was out a little bit on, and then I turned to him like 21-0. Like, how did this even happen? Then you look at the
Mm,
box score, and you're like, what in the world?
yeah,
Three
I
pick
got
sixes. Like, what are the
yeah.
chances?
I was out doing something too. I don't know if I can't remember. I was working another thing. Yeah, and I just got the like the notification on my
Yeah,
phone. It was just like one of those like ESPN like look at this
yeah,
play type things, and it was like Panthers get defense gets third pick six of the half, and I'm like that's got to be a typo. That
yeah,
what and
third. I mean, shit,
and
you don't see teams these days getting three pick sixes all season.
yeah, that's a.
And three
I
in a
mean,
game and a half. Like that is
yeah,
wild.
it's crazy.
And I thought that I was excited for that game because I thought, man, this is gonna be a pretty good game.
Hmm.
Both teams are really looking good right now, and big win for Pitt there, just remain undefeated. A
Hmm.
huge win, and again, UI Holstein.
Hmm. Yeah, man, what a great pickup for them in the transfer portal.
Yeah,
And then you got, we mentioned BYU staying unbeaten. They went in the UCF again, a place that could be tricky. You don't know. Gus Bus, it's always,
I
and
didn't.
they handle business.
Yeah, they did. And they were what, a 4-point dog. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Like I was like, is this like what is up with this line? Is this a sucker bet? Like what is going on? Like I feel like it was more people still don't believe UCLA is good than
Yeah.
anything.
BYU, but
Because I
yeah.
mean,
Uh, yeah, no, and it was 37-24 victory. And then it wasn't even that close. UCF
no
got
one.
2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter
But
that kind of even make it look
BYU had to
closer.
be feeling some type of disrespect though. I mean,
Oh, for
you're
sure. Yeah.
undefeated on the season. UCF coming off four straight losses. You're a ranked team, and they still had UCF as the favorite. It's like what?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no one else is getting that, but a team that people still don't. Obviously, there's plenty of people who still don't believe in what BYU is doing. I mean, and I get it. I mean, it's kind of been but if you look
But
at their schedule as well, BYU very well could run this table.
no, it's becoming more and more every week. You're like, is this the week they slip up? Nope. Is this the week they slip up?
No,
Nope. Is this the week?
because I
And
mean now they
again,
play the next game they have a bye week and then they have the Holy War game against the Utah team that's
phew.
who
And
knows, but
granted,
I
it's in
mean
Salt Lake City, so in Utah will be pumped up to try to ruin their season. But you think with a bye, Kalani Satake is really, I got these guys rolling, man. He's
I mean it's not
his
he
best
knows about
coaching
that
job by
game.
his best coaching job by far. Yeah, he's a uh, he knows, like you said, he knows about that game. Uh,
But
it-
and then they
yeah,
play,
and
then they have Kansas at home.
Kansas is not. Yeah, they're having a down
No.
year.
Now going
Uh,
to Arizona State on the 23rd of November, if their quarterback is back, that could be a tricky one.
it could be, yeah, but how many times have we seen so far that at Baylor that could be a
Right.
tricky one. No,
But if
at
there's one
UCF,
that if there's
nope.
one game that but yeah, I mean they should be I would think should be fine there. And then the end of the season there,
Home
against
against
it
Houston, yeah.
at home against Houston and Houston. Good win for them yesterday. Whether they
Hmm.
beat Utah, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I was surprised to see that one. I
17,
was,
yeah,
late at night looking at
17-14.
scores, and like you
Yeah,
said, Utah's just going, man. It doesn't matter, Cam Rising, Wilson. If something's wrong there, and for the Utes,
yeah.
they just offense cannot score.
No,
Houston
and
gets
this
the
is not a
game-winning
good
field goal.
Houston
Yeah.
team at all.
No, it's well coached. We know, like we said early in the previews,
He's
Willie
got to get
Fritz
his people in there.
he's gonna get them there. But yeah, it's gonna take
Yeah,
a few seasons because that cupboard's
yeah,
depleted.
yeah,
But yeah, just good win for them, and then
absolutely.
uh, yeah, so it's set up for them, and I think it's kind of where it's one of those stories people are like, yeah, let's see it, man, because if you look at those the Big 12 standings, man, they're it's right there for them. They're in
Yeah, I
first
mean it's
place.
right
Iowa
there
State's
for
the
them.
unbeaten team. They don't have to play
Right,
them.
but
Uh,
Iowa State has a little. They have a tough end of the schedule. I mean,
yeah.
you look at theirs. I mean, they still have. They have, I mean, Texas Tech. I mean, they've fallen off a little bit after two straight losses, and it's
Hmm.
a name, so they should be good there. Kansas is not good, but
Hmm.
there are two of the last three. I mean, Iowa State, Cincinnati.
Hmm.
Iowa State has to play Kansas State.
Hmm.
I mean, a
At
couple of
Utah again, Utah's
yeah,
going down, but they're such a well coached team that they're one of those teams that any moment can
right.
jump
So I
up
mean,
and
they have
get
a
you.
tough end of the. I'd say a tougher November. Kansas State, of course, right there in the mix. But of course, BYU has
The
the what's the name
tiebreaker win
over
over
them
them.
tiebreaker
Yeah.
over them. They blew them out. But I mean, Kansas State's still, of course, still in the mix. I mean, they're on a bye week. Um, able to beat Kansas again. You expected a close one just because it usually is, but I think what is that like 17 years that they beaten Kansas? I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
Hmm.
Eh, I mean, they've
But
been
yeah,
dominant in that.
that was a close, fun into that game last night too. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I
But
mean, you look at theirs. I mean, they Kansas State has a tough little end of the thing. I mean, they have Houston next week. They should be fine there. But they play Arizona State, they play Cincinnati, and then they play at in Ames. So I mean, they have a tough end of the tough November as well. And the other team in the Big 12, man,
I think
Colorado.
I was about to say you're going where I was going next, man. The Buffs, another good win over, like you said, a tough Cincinnati team last night.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, man.
Oh my God, he played every play, I believe.
Hmm. And just an outside. What were his stats last night? I mean, he just,
Ridiculous.
yeah, ridiculous. Let's see. He pulled, I
Nine
mean,
for
not,
153 and two tutties.
and then was dominant on defense too. A few
Yeah,
pass breakups, just looking strong. I mean,
yeah,
man, it's hard to argue as anyone else, as a better player in college football right
yeah.
now. And the Buffs bowl eligible. For all
That's
the
huge.
criticism
I
that
mean, that is
people,
huge.
for all the criticism people have lobbed their way, and Deion
They're
Sanders, he
six
did
and
what
two.
he was hired to do. Yeah, they're now
They're
bowl eligible, and they
six
have
and
a
two.
manageable schedule at Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Yeah, Lubbock's a weird place, but Colorado's a better team. Like you said, Texas Tech, two straight losses. Home for Utah, again, a down Utah team at Kansas. That's not a very good team, and then home for Oklahoma State, a team that's just wildly struggling. Last place in the Big 12 this year
yeah.
uh, for the Cowboys. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Colorado
They
runs the
could.
table, gets to
Yeah.
10-2. They would
What?
be 8-1 in
10.
conference, and if one of
Yeah,
those teams above them slips up, they could even possibly get to the Big 12 title game.
yeah. I mean, there's a good chance that that first week that we see Colorado on championship Saturday. There's a good
Yeah,
chance.
yeah, like there's a good chance they're in a conversation for maybe an at-large bid, if not like playing their way in through a Big 12 title to the college
Yeah,
football playoff.
for sure.
Uh,
And
and
man,
then
if they're 10-2, at the end of the year, and just with the hype that comes with Prime and everything with
mhm.
that, the committee's gonna have a tough job of keeping them out the playoff if they don't get on the automatic bid by beating the BYU or something. And
Absolutely. The only knock is, they don't have any ranked. The one ranked team
no,
they
they don't have
played right
any.
now is they lost to
Yeah,
Kansas State, and that loss in
yeah,
Nebraska. Although Nebraska, uh, it's not necessarily a bad loss.
not a terrible loss, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but yeah, I mean, it might be tough for the, that I think they probably are left out because, if they're going up against a 10-2 SEC team or something, it's probably gonna be hard for them to get in. But man, they're gonna beat it if they run that table. They're gonna be right there. So it'll be interesting on selections. If they don't win the Big 12 title game, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But they,
yeah.
I wouldn't want to see the Buffalo in the championship game.
No, yeah, you don't want to play that team with the
No,
weapons they have.
yeah,
And it should be noted too. A little unfortunate news early in the week. Colorado player, uh, uh, their a defensive lineman, Nikhil Webb Walker, did announce he has lymphoma, is undergoing treatment. So we wish the best for
yeah,
him. Um, hope all the best. Hopefully, all that coverage. They caught it early enough. It sounds like uh,
yeah.
doctors have said it's very treatable. So all the
That's
best of
great.
that kid and his family is,
Yeah,
tough thing
yeah.
to go
You
through, of
hate to see
course.
it
Yeah. But yeah, again, this we've talked about it just about every week now, and the Big 12 is such a fun conference right now. Every week, like you said, there's no super elite teams out there. Well, although BYU and Iowa State are making their cases, it's such a great conference to watch. Uh,
for sure.
but yeah, let's switch a little real quick. Let's go back to the SEC. Uh, Beside the big games we've already talked about, Ole Miss got a win over Oklahoma. They continue to struggle, the Sooners, in
Yeah.
their
Well,
new
Ole Miss struggled
conference.
a little bit though.
Yeah, it
Not as big
wasn't
a
the
win as
prettiest
you would
game.
thought would have thought.
Yeah, but Jackson Dart did, solid game for him, over 300 and a touchdown. Uh, 8 point
Hmm.
win for the Rebels, but a win, and they needed it. They
They needed
host,
that.
yeah, 2 weeks
They
from now.
definitely needed that.
Georgia comes to town, so
Yeah, that's right.
and then they have to go at Arkansas next week.
It's not
Rivalry game
easy.
there, and Arkansas took it to Mississippi State yesterday.
Yeah, they did 58 over
Yeah,
600 offensive yards.
put it
They
on
put
them.
up
Man,
points.
they have found their quarterback there.
Taylor,
Uh,
I mean, and
yeah.
Taylor Green was a heck of a quarterback at Boise State last year. So I mean,
hmm
they definitely saw that, and they got the right, offensive coordinator. Bobby Petrino knows how to use them.
Yeah,
So
and Sam Pittman's boys, they're one win away from bowl eligibility themselves.
5-3. Yeah,
Once again, though, we just like giving him props. Michael Van Buren, State's found their quarterback of the future.
they
He
have.
did throw 2 picks with another 300-yard game, uh, a couple touchdowns as well. So
Yeah.
the kid, like we said, we know it's a rebuilding job. It is tough. It's a long season for the Bulldogs,
Hopefully
but
they just let this coaching staff build.
mhm,
Because what Mississippi State needs right now is some
consistency. Yeah,
stability, some longevity. Because I mean, Mike Leach. I mean, it's such a tragic ending, and then they try to keep it together with the defensive coordinator, and we saw how that went. And they move, so they have to give Jeff Lebby just some time because I mean, it's hard enough winning in Starkville as is there.
yeah,
And I mean, what Leach was able to do, consistently have winning seasons there, and really, I mean, what we saw with him, and then before him, Dan Mullen, consistently winning seasons in Starkville. I mean, both kudos to both of them, honestly, because I mean, it's not the
hmm
easiest place to win. It's harder to get recruits in there. You're in the SEC. I mean, it's tough. So, but they just had to give him some time. He's obviously has his quarterback, and hopefully they can get some good transfer players. Hit the portal well, and then hopefully get some decent recruits because I mean there's
hmm
recruits in the Mississippi, Louisiana that maybe aren't maybe LSU caliber, but they're still good. And that
yeah,
some dogs, some people that want to go play, still if you're in the SEC, you're still a heck of a player, honestly. So hopefully,
Exactly.
they continue to build and at least get back to respectability because they're a team. I really have no ill will toward Mississippi State. Really, I mean,
Mm.
I like to see them at least be decent.
Competitive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, certainly. Yeah, they definitely need to fix the defensive side of the ball. But a winnable game next week. They host UMass at home, and hopefully they can
yeah,
get themselves at least a second win on the year.
yeah,
Would be their first over FBS competition.
yeah,
Uh, and then a tough close to the season for them at
yeah.
Tennessee, home for Missouri, at Ole Miss in the Egg
Jeez.
Bowl.
Mm,
So
yeah.
if they can get that UMass win, and it's probably like you said, it's building. It's not about the wins and losses right now for that
It's
staff and
about
that program. Yeah,
it's
it's about
about
building for the
looking
future.
competitive and
Hmm.
hopefully. But the couple of good things. I mean, Missouri's not what they were last year, so they probably don't win that game. But I mean, they should be able to hang around. I would think a little bit, even
Hmm.
if they are someone else. If they're even if um, Brady Cook is healthy.
Hmm.
I think they could hang a little bit with them. And you never know with the Egg Bowl. Probably not
Yeah,
this year,
that's true.
but
Uh,
yeah, but yeah, tough year on Starkville.
mhm.
But
But yeah, elsewhere, another team having a tough year that got themselves a big win yesterday. The Auburn Tigers uh,
golly,
went into
I was really
Kentucky.
hoping they were. Honestly, I was really hoping that they were gonna go 0-8.
Oh, for the SEC.
Yeah,
Uh, they didn't though. A good win, and what they did was they gave the ball to Jarquez Hunter and
and he went crazy.
278 on the ground.
God,
Uh, and looking at I was looking at it, I was like, man, how is I was looking at his season stats, and he only has 200-yard games this year. That and then New Mexico, both Auburn wins. It's also
hmm
the only two games this year that he's been given at least 20 carries.
yeah,
So you got to believe that if, Hugh Freeze is as smart a coach as he thinks he is, that's probably what you need to focus on the rest of the season is getting him the ball as many times as possible.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
the passing game ain't beating
It's
people.
trash. They're
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah. You
Like,
got some
stop
talent
throwing
at
the ball.
receiver for sure, but yeah, you can't. Now, granted, teams are going to be able to load the box and force them to pass,
Right.
but you know, like they get Vandy next week, so that's
Yeah.
that would be a big win for them, even if no Vandy's dropped out of top 25 now, but still,
Yeah, that'd
we
be a
mentioned
huge
that
win for
that
them.
last two games of the season, hosting A&M and then in Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl.
Yeah. Neither
But
of
they
those are
got
looking good. So,
no, yeah. But yeah, you got a great back, one of the fastest players in the country
oh yeah,
at getting the ball. And
definitely. I don't
yeah,
understand. Like, dude, he should have been the focal point of the offense to begin with.
yeah, just absolutely should have been. Yeah, you build your offense around him, but
Absolutely,
just wanted to note that there as they, it was a good win for them, like I said.
it was a good win for him.
But let's.
Yeah.
Anything else from this week you want to touch on before we look ahead to next week, real quick?
The one thing I was shocked that and maybe we're looking ahead, but man, the fact that the Nebraska went into Columbus after getting
Hmm.
housed by Indiana, and they had the opportunity to win at the end. Dylan Raiola threw the pick, but man, I was just shocked. The Huskers just kept fighting right there. Ohio State wasn't scoring points. I thought that game was gonna get ugly. Um,
Yeah, that's a sloppy game. Like you said, maybe looking ahead to
yeah,
that big Penn State game in Happy Valley next week,
exactly.
but that's not what you want to see if you're a Buckeye
No,
fan. And good response
absolutely
for
not.
Nebraska, though.
Yeah,
That's is what you want to see. Obviously you hope they could have pulled the upset, but Uh, that's a good win for the Husker, or a good effort for the Huskers.
Yeah,
No
it was
moral
a good
victories.
effort.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
but they're one win away from
yeah,
bowl eligibility
right.
themselves, and they host
I mean,
UCLA next week, and that should be where they get it. And
yeah, you would
their
hope for
schedule
them that they
isn't.
do.
Yeah, it's not daunting. The UCLA, they have to go at USC, but that's they're not that great this year.
They're not
They host
great.
Wisconsin, again, an up and down team themselves, and then
Right.
they ended Iowa, who another kind of if you look at the Big Ten standings behind Indiana, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State is just
It's
a
train wreck. I mean,
glob.
it's
Yeah, it's a glob of three
a
and
lot
two, two
of
and three teams. Yeah,
a lot of mediocrity right now.
yeah,
Okay, but yeah, but a lot of teams that could win any week, but
yeah. A
who
lot of
knows what you're gonna get?
inconsistency.
Yeah, a lot of incons. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, they could very well, win the rest of their games. They could also
Hmm.
lose a couple. Big thing for them though is just getting to a bowl game. I mean, they haven't been to a
Hmm.
bowl game since 2016. So I mean, they just
It's
have to focus on
it's
that. So,
and I know, yeah, younger people don't understand what that means and think, oh, whatever, who cares? For guys like us and older, man, that
dude, they
is a
were such a
crazy stat. Nebraska was one of the blue bloods. I mean, they still are blue blood, but they were still one of the elite programs of the sport.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
That
you
night,
go look at the 90 run, the 90,
yeah,
just
three
90.
titles in 4 years. That's something that
Yeah,
not a lot of teams do.
no,
That Tommy Frazier led team, they could. There's arguments that's one of the best teams that's ever been put out in the field.
absolutely. I mean, you
Uh,
look at that 90, go look at
mhm,
that 1995 schedule. I
mhm.
mean, they house most everybody,
And
including the fun and gun. I mean, they absolutely took Florida to the woodshed in that
yeah,
national title game.
if you're young, you don't know. Just search Tommy Frazier run against Florida. When
My
he
God.
literally ran through the entire Florida defense, probably a
Yeah.
couple of extra guys, a couple of cheerleaders, a few fans.
Yeah,
And
that
again,
was
that was
wild.
peak Florida Gator. They would go on to win the
Yeah,
national title the next season.
exactly.
And Nebraska, like you said, that whole schedule, they played tough teams. They did not care. They
They
ran through you.
destroyed
The black
everybody.
shirt defense, yeah, that was so to
They were nasty.
see a program like that. Every big program has down years, but to see them
They've
not
had
make
a
a
lot.
bowl in almost a decade now.
Yeah, that's tough. And they got a great fan base, a very loyal fan
Mm-hmm,
base. I mean, they're
mm-hmm.
with them no matter what. Like
What haven't
you need,
they've
you
had a
want to see good.
sellout every game since what
Yeah,
50s or
the
something.
'60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are questionable because I mean it's like people buying up the tickets. But anyway, it's still
Mm-hmm.
a nice. It's still a nice. It's nice. Just a remarkable stat considering what they've been for some of the last decade. But hopefully, they seem to be going in the right direction. You know, Considering the fact, I mean, they had two tough games in a row. Going to Bloomington was tough in itself, and
Mm-hmm.
then the next week going to Columbus, and they really responded well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
considering, I mean, I would have thought they would have got absolutely housed in Columbus, but they fought hard, had a chance to win at the end, and of course, some of that I think Ohio State really didn't take that game too serious, but
Mm-hmm.
kudos to the Huskers for showing up and being physical and containing that prolific offense. So
Yeah. Um, no doubt. Yeah. A good effort. Matt Rule, he's a good coach and a program builder, and
yeah,
he looks like he's going in the right direction.
oh,
You
absolutely,
mentioned Indiana. We did say they stayed unbeaten. Pretty
yeah,
solid win over Washington. Nothing
yeah.
spectacular, but nothing
Another,
bad either. Your defense just keeps
yeah.
that.
I mean, playing.
Indiana defense is Kurt Signetti, man. Like Google him. uh,
He's a
it's
man. He remember
mhm,
it's impressive. I mean, it is
mhm,
just impressive.
yeah.
Every week, it just gets better. I mean, they're playing with a backup quarterback, and still on the dominant performance. Really, there were, maybe a little closer, but there was at
Hmm.
no point when you thought, man, Washington might win this game. Absolutely not. Like it was a
No, yeah.
yeah, no, and they're another team. I mean, well, another team. If you look at that rest of that schedule, it's not the toughest. So the realities of Indiana going undefeated. It sounds crazy, Well, I mean, of course, Ohio State, yeah, but
Yeah,
I
that's the
mean, they go to Michigan State, they have the bye week, then they go to Michigan State. They should win that one. They host Michigan. I think they should win that. You know, Ohio State better not play like they did yesterday. They will lose, even
I was about to
in
say,
Columbus.
even though it's in the horseshoe, that Indiana has shown no fear this year,
Yeah,
and that looks like it's obviously the biggest game on their schedule
yeah. And
right
then they
now.
close the rivalry game, but Purdue is terrible. So
Yeah,
I mean,
Purdue is
realistically, at
not a
the
good
end of the
team.
year, Indiana should be 11-1. Worst case scenario.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't see anybody else beating them. I mean, and they
No,
might
and
pull
yeah,
it upset, but
as I was saying, there's a chance that could sneak them into the Big Ten
Big
title
Ten,
game. I mean,
yeah, who knows?
we'll see. Of course, next week, like we mentioned, that big Penn State Ohio State tilt's gonna tell
Right,
us a lot more about how the standings might shape up. But
exactly. I mean, and if you look at that, and Penn State, coming into that game, I mean, if there's a time for Penn, like this is James Franklin's time. Like if he doesn't do it this year, I just don't know. I'm like I don't know. Like because I mean, obviously
yeah,
Ohio
haven't
State's
beat them.
good, but they have I don't know they're beatable. I mean, considering they came in off the bye week, that Oregon game obviously still hurt them a little bit because they came in off the bye week and looked like that against Nebraska. So something's up.
Yeah, you got to wonder if that was one of those cases. Maybe they spent that week preparing more for Penn State than they did
Right.
Nebraska. But if you're James Franklin and his staff, you got to be looking at this game and be like, what did Nebraska do that we can take and
Yeah.
emulate
Take
and
advantage.
take
Contain them.
advantage of? Because like
Yeah.
they haven't beaten them
Absolutely.
in since 2016. They're the
Mhm.
higher ranked team. It does look opening lines have Ohio
Four.
State favored. Yeah. But
4 point.
that Penn State crowd's going to be loud and excited, even though it's that early game.
Man,
National spotlight though. Um,
I absolutely hate the fact that the Big Ten thinks putting these big time games at noon is the way to go. You absolutely have to put this game at nighttime in Happy Valley. A whiteout at 7 at night in Happy Valley? Come on. Big
well,
Ten, stop this
especially
nonsense.
when their primetime NBC game is Wisconsin and Iowa. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
You got to flip
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like I
You got
understand
you got to have
Fox is
that
not going to give
flex.
up that game, but Big Ten, you can't have a premier matchup like that be an 11 o'clock game. You can't. It's just
I assume
like,
game day is going to be in Happy Valley.
oh, absolutely, yeah, they've
Yeah,
already announced that.
yeah. I've
Like,
seen it.
man, you guys, I don't know. Like, it'll still be a good atmosphere, but nighttime in Happy Valley, it's probably a whiteout regardless, but it's not the same, man.
No, yeah, no.
Ah.
I
And
agree.
that's the one great thing about the SEC moving to ESPN, ABC is they're going to put the SEC is going to put that marquee game at that 6:30,
And
7 o'clock spot.
yep.
You're not going to see anything. You know, you're not going to. I mean, we had some great 2:30 things that end up at night, but yeah, there's not going to be any mishaps like that. Like, there's absolutely no reason why that game is not a primetime night game.
Yeah.
NBC should have that game.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you look at the schedule next week for you would be going against Texas A&M at South Carolina, so people are probably going to put more eyes on Penn State, Ohio State
Oh,
if they were at the same
absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
Other than maybe diehard SEC fans, but
Yeah. But I
uh,
mean, the
no, I
casual
agree with
college
you.
football fan,
Yeah,
all eyes have been on that.
like one sense, like I get what they were trying to do, a little cool. You're like, oh yeah, let's start the day off great, because it used to be really, there was nothing in those early windows, but
Right.
there's always, I agree. No, you gotta, that's a prime time matchup. You
Oh,
gotta put that, you gotta
you got to
find a
put
way,
that
help
at night.
talk Fox into be like, hey man, just make a special exception, uh or have
Or
some
even
right
have
in your
Fox have the
contract.
game. Like, Wait,
Yeah,
what is
that's what I'm
Fox playing
saying. Yeah,
tonight? What
yeah,
is Fox
nothing.
playing
Yeah,
at? What is Fox
Fo-
playing at? I know they'll have a
yeah.
game, but what is their game
I
at
don't even
night?
think Fox shows the late night games. I just think they do
They
other
just
stuff at night. Yeah, everything else is
they
on
probably
that.
have. Never. I see what Fox has to do that because they probably have. They're probably looking and probably having a World Series game, but
Ah,
God,
yeah,
you gotta get that shit up.
yeah. You got to have something in your TV contracts if you're the Big Ten to be like, look, it. We have control of if there's a big
Yeah,
game, then we're going to flip it
yeah,
to, and do some type of deal where okay, where Fox, we're gonna give this game to NBC this week, but in turn, maybe you get two games down the road, or next season you get
yeah.
the some
Some.
type of thing. You got to be in control of it if you're the Big Ten.
Yeah, you gotta because this. I think it's opportunity missed. I mean, even
Hmm.
if it's the other way around, I want to see that game in Columbus at night too. I mean, it's not about
No, yeah, it's not
giving
just about
Ohio
where it is.
State
Yeah,
or Penn State giving the advantage. I mean, any big time matchup. I would like to see, even the Michigan Ohio State game, and that's always been an 11 o'clock game,
yeah.
even as long as I can remember, my whole life basically. And I would love to see that game at night.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, just
There's
something about it.
just something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we do next week again, though, I did want to forgot to go through our group of five teams, spotlighting them. Boise State, another big win. Genty, a pedestrian 128
Pedestrian,
yards
yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
No, if he did it, they should get credit. Good job of bottling him up. He got
Yeah, they did.
128 on 33 carries. So,
Yeah, so
but
his numbers down a lot
yeah,
for him. I mean,
yeah,
they
but
held him in
still,
check.
they did. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that's hilarious. 128 yards is in check, but uh,
It was a
good.
good game. I mean, it lived
Yeah,
up to the hype.
it was. Yeah, a late win for your close win for Boise State, and they keep going toward that group of five spot. Um, you got
They
your
have
other
to,
teams.
as their season continues, they continue to have to be the biggest Notre Dame fans as far as knocking
Mm-hmm.
off the service academies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Memphis, closer win than you would think. Charlotte,
Yeah,
a 21-point fourth quarter, it really put the fear in the Memphis, but they roll on. They're 7-1 on the
yeah,
year. Tulane, a big win at North Texas. They're still
yeah,
unbeaten in American play. Army was off yesterday.
yeah.
So that's kind of where we are right now. It still looks like Boise State's in that pole position for that, but
You
of
never
course,
know.
barring Army going unbeaten.
Right.
But fun win. Of course, late night last night. Oh, Hawaii got their first Mountain West win of the year over Nevada. Another program I just always soft spot for Hawaii, and especially
Dude,
with a
because
guy
they
like
used to put up wild numbers back in the
those
day.
June Jones Hawaii teams are something else, man.
Wild. I
Mm,
mean, you had to stay up late as shit, and it was hard to get them
mm,
because it wasn't every game on TV. But
yeah,
man, if you could find a way to get that, man, they had some wild games back in the day. Timmy
yeah.
Chang and
Yeah, now that he's coaching the team, you're rooting
yeah,
for him. It's a guy that you want to root for,
yeah,
a
for sure.
program you want to root for. All signs. I think they're going to
But
rebuild Aloha
yeah,
Stadium. So
yeah, you want to see them succeed. I mean, it's
yeah,
just because I guess more of our nostalgia of back in the day. I mean, they put up
hmm
crazy numbers. Even made it to the Sugar Bowl in '07.
yeah.
Got housed, but
I was
they
about to say,
made
yeah,
it.
don't need to talk about what happened in that Super Bowl, but
But
against that,
the fact that Hawaii made a Sugar Bowl, I mean, that's
exactly. That's
that
saying
that's a
something. Yeah.
story in itself. But while we're talking about the kind of the non-power, man, that the team that got knocked out, the that Liberty team lost.
Mm.
Kennesaw State
Oh
got
yeah,
their
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
first win
FBS
in
win. Yep.
FBS win there. And I mean, not a bigger way to get your first
Hmm.
over the a team that are undefeated, and then they got the rest of the field twice
Yeah.
because they gave them
Uh,
one more second.
Yeah.
which was trash. I don't know why man, only at Kennesaw State would ever happen because there's no way. They rush the field, but it's a smaller stadium, a smaller crowd.
Yeah.
Man, let that happen. There's no way in the SEC or the Big Ten someone like that pulls off a stunner like that. There's no way you're getting people off the field.
Oh no. Yeah.
So say,
That.
hey guys, we're gonna run one more play. Will you guys politely leave the field? And they did a good job. They, happily left the field and then came right back on. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
only in Kennesaw State could you pull that.
Yeah. Uh. No. Yeah. And that was the knock on Liberty too. That they might finish unbeaten, but they had a soft schedule.
Who did
Well,
they
now
play?
they're
Yeah.
completely out now. So
Oh yeah, absolutely
no more
out.
Liberty. A couple more hat tips. Jacksonville State. That horrible start. Now they're 3-0 in Conference USA play. Another win
Yeah.
that same night against Middle Tennessee State. So Rich Rod's got his boys humming
Rich
again.
Rod, Rich Rod
Yeah.
is kind of going. Yeah,
Hmm.
he does.
And then I wanted one more. The Cougars of Washington State, man, 7-1. Uh, what's his Mateer, their quarterback, man, John Mateer, he can sling it. Their only loss at Boise State, good team, and their schedule is very winnable for them to finish the year
Yeah,
11-1 and then make some argument themselves for maybe an at large.
absolutely.
So yeah, just wanted to hat tip my them. Let's move on to real next week real quick. Just look
Yeah, they're
ahead.
ranked now, huh? Yeah, Washington
Yeah,
State 22.
yeah. So good for the Cougs.
Wow.
Of course, the big
Yeah.
one, Ohio State, Penn State. We've talked about that.
Oh yeah.
Duke at Miami. That's another early one. That early
That's
window is actually real
interesting.
nice. You got Ohio State at Penn State, Duke at Miami, Ole Miss at Arkansas, Air Force at Army as Army keeps trying
Yeah.
to go uh, unbeaten. You got a Virginia Tech team that's rolling along, plays at
Hmm.
Syracuse. Of course, we mentioned Vanderbilt at Auburn. Memphis tries to keep going and keep their playoff dream alive at UTSA. Ohio, we mentioned Oregon at Michigan. Even though Michigan's down, that's at 2:30 CBS on Big Ten
That's an
or Big Ten on
interesting one.
CBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's the big house, so it's no easy games there.
All right.
But Oregon should, we think there.
Yeah.
Iowa State, excuse me, tries to stay unbeaten as they host Texas Tech. We got the cocktail party. Georgia, of course, heavily favored, by 16 and a half. But
But both teams coming off that bye week, so I mean that's
hmm
I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. I mean,
hmm
Florida the last month has been playing better football.
yeah, and we've talked about
They've
DJ
come a long
Lagway
way
is
since
is the
that
guy. Yeah.
lost to A&M. They've come a long way.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Florida. And, no one's expecting them to go in there. But if you can go in there and
Keep
give
it
Georgia a
close.
scare, keep it competitive at least for 3 quarters, then, that's another, I think, plus for Billy Napier to, get one more season
Yep.
there to
But
try.
I mean, if you keep it close long enough, you start
Mhm.
believing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A team like that hanging around a quarterback with the talent of DJ Lagway, again, he's a freshman, he's still learning it, but a guy like
Man,
that, if you let him hang around, and Georgia's been sluggish. They do had the big win, obviously, at
yeah,
Texas last
in
week, but
Texas.
they've been sluggish
Yeah,
at
they have.
times this year.
It's not the Georgia that we saw prior to this year, where they're just housing folks and
No, yeah.
no way you're beating them. I mean,
Now again,
they give.
they could. Oh, sorry, I was going to say that. Then now again, they could come off that bye and that Texas
Oh yeah,
victory,
they could
and
absolutely.
return to that Georgia. But
Yeah, I mean they.
it's
I mean that's the other thing, but both teams coming out the bye, so obviously Kirby's have probably had a lot to talk about.
yeah,
That hey, we won this game, but hey, we're still not anywhere where we
mm,
need to be at. So it'll be
no,
interesting.
it's at least
Hopefully
worth
it's
paying attention
keeping your
to if
eye
you got
on.
that. Yeah, if you got that
Yeah,
multi view on YouTube,
yeah.
maybe it's one of the
Keep it in the
games.
corner, and hey,
Yeah,
you start looking around. What is it? The 2:30. I mean, you start looking about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it's a three
mm,
point ball game. You start looking. Hey,
yeah. Maybe bring it
keep
up
your
on the
eye on.
big. Yeah.
Yeah,
Indiana, like we mentioned, they're trying to keep their unbeaten season. They go to East Lansing at Michigan State, a trickier game than maybe we thought a few weeks ago. But
right.
uh, let's see
But
what else is going on down the schedule here. Navy tries to bounce back at Rice. Rice fired their coach this morning, I believe.
Hmm. It's kind of
Uh,
a sleepy weekend.
which those
There's
are always the tricky
the fun
ones, you
one.
know. Yeah.
This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night,
Mm-hmm.
7 p.m. ACC Network, Pitt,
Yep.
SMU.
That's the one I was looking
That's
at
the
too right
one.
now. That's the one.
That's the one.
That's
That
your
should be an
premiere.
awesome game.
Yeah, late night. Louisville and Clemson. Luckily for Clemson, that's in Memorial
And
Stadium, so they don't have to go to the crazy house that is Louisville.
yeah,
But yeah, that
and
Pitt
then
SMU game, man, that's a huge one for ACC implications. Pitt trying to stay unbeaten, SMU trying to
yeah,
stay unbeaten in ACC play. And then another one, that late night window there that's interesting. Texas A&M goes to Columbia, South Carolina. Um, a tough place to play. Lenore
yeah.
Sellers and that
That's
South Carolina
that's where
offense is
you.
tricky.
Mhm. And that's where you really learn about your program is how do you stay focused after a big win like that? Because
Hmm.
now you hear how good you are, and oh, we're number one in
Hmm.
the SEC, and oh man, we're right there for the
Hmm.
playoff. And hey, the
Yeah.
people start talking, and how do you stay above that? The rat poison is Coach
Hmm.
Saban would say. So and that's the thick of it right there, and there's a team that'll bring you back down to reality real quick. It's that South Carolina team in Columbia. So,
Yeah, it
hey,
was with that pass rush they have, like we
yeah,
mentioned, Lenore Sellers and Rocket Sanders. That's a talented
yeah,
offense, and they had a bye this week to rest up and prepare.
yeah,
And A&M's coming off, like you said, that emotional, that big game
big
win. That's
win.
that's a tricky spot. The Aggies better not take the Gamecocks lightly there.
Now, I would have
But
to say for Texas A&M, you would have
mhm.
to think that they're going to stick with the that
And
he's their
that's a
quarterback.
question. Yeah, you would think so. Wagman's been, the highly touted guy, but on the season, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. So it's not exactly like he's
Yeah, I mean, he had the big game against Missouri, but now we're looking at
yeah.
Missouri and we're like, Missouri
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
Missourian.
Yeah,
So I mean,
Missouri has not lived up to their hype. So
yeah, I
South
mean,
Carolina
I
has a
mean, I'm
chance.
thinking if I'm Mike Elko at this point, I feel better with Marcel Reed as my quarterback
Oh, absolutely.
because I
Yeah.
mean he brings a certain energy,
Hmm.
and the team feeds off that energy,
Yeah.
and he can throw
Um,
the ball. We see how well he runs the ball. So I
and you
mean,
know that You know that South Carolina can play these top teams tough. They should have beaten
yeah,
LSU. I mean, the hell they should have beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
yeah,
Uh, the only really bump on their schedule is that blowout loss, to Ole Miss. But
yeah, weird one.
yeah, A and
They're a
M,
tough team.
yeah, they're a tough team, and A&M better, Mike Elko better be ready for it.
Better
If they,
come ready. But if there's a coach that have his guys ready,
mhm,
he'll be Mike Elko. He seems to be a very humble guy.
yeah.
Old school coach. I mean, he's gonna do everything he can to have his guys ready. He's not gonna let them get hype. He's not.
No,
But
yeah. But let's move on NFL real quick.
yeah.
Weird day. We mentioned it kind of one of those weird
Oh,
days the NFL
very
has from
weird.
time to time. The Browns upset the Ravens.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, man, I knew it as soon as he was named starter. I was like, man, damn it, this is going to be the Browns. Always do some weird shit with the Ravens. Nick Chubb
Yeah.
back. The Ravens the secondary, they were missing Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins. They benched
Yeah.
Marcus Williams, their big prize free
Yeah.
agent safety from last year.
Mm.
Man, and I just every disaster,
Just
and of
had a
course
sense that it was all
Jameis
signs
went
of
Jameis went off, and the Ravens offense kind of sputtered. The receivers, man, I had some huge drops today.
they
Uh,
did.
the Rashad Bateman in particular had one where Lamar did
Oh,
a Lamar thing, scrambled, escaped the sack, got
yeah.
wide, threw a
Gave him
deep
the
ball down the
perfect
middle. He
pass.
was wide open, yeah, and
Great
just hit
pass.
his face mask.
Yeah.
So it.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then but some Ravens fans, doomsday. I'm like, man, look, we're due for a game or two like this every year. It's just how the
It
Ravens
just
been going.
happens. I mean, that's
Uh,
just
yeah, it just happened.
that's
It's the
just today's
NFL. Yeah,
NFL. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, everybody's a professional. I mean, these dudes are trying to win
Hmm.
games too. I mean,
Yeah. But how mad are you if you're a Browns fan that you could have benched Watson early in the season and
I
had
could have had
Jameis? Because
Jameis out there.
man, uh, yeah,
Because if
uh,
anything, Jameis is going to. I don't know. It's just something electric about him. I don't know.
he.
He has the it factor. I
Hmm.
mean, we saw the. I mean, he carried Florida State. I mean, we've seen what they've been
Hmm.
since Jameis. I mean, it's been overall a shit show. Um, I mean, Tampa. I mean, he came in that situation, and I mean, Tampa was terrible, and
Hmm.
they
And look,
didn't really
Jameis
do a good
might.
job of putting.
Yeah,
They as soon as they got pieces, they moved to Tom Brady.
exactly. Yeah, and here's the thing about Jameis too. He might. He's what he'll throw a 40 interceptions and 30 interceptions in a year or whatever he did that one year. But
Yeah.
you know what? And he almost had today, and that was another thing, man. That's the one I saw. I put the game on a red zone, and they flashed to that play.
Hmm.
He threw a pass to Kyle Hamilton. The
Hmm.
problem there being that Kyle Hamilton plays for the Ravens, and it looked like Kyle Hamilton was running the route for him, and he dropped what would have been a
Yeah.
game-sealing pick. Just dropped it. Next
Yeah.
play, boom, deep pass, touchdown. Browns go ahead.
He has
Uh,
no what's the name.
mm,
He's a cold blooded dude.
Oh, Jameis, yeah, he's goldfish, man. That last play out of his mind. Let's go to the next play, man. You
Yeah.
mentioned something special about him, man. Uh, uh, his teammates, man. You rarely see teams rally around a guy like they do Jameis, man. And
Dude, he
how
is
mad are you?
electric.
Saints
He has
fans.
electric personality.
Yeah, Saints fans were begging for and they're still out on kind of Carr a little bit, and
Oh
they
yeah.
begging for Jameis to stay there. How mad are
And
you if
then
you're a fan of another team that needed a quarterback, even if it was just a guy, like the Panthers or something? Like, let's get a guy like
yeah.
Jameis in here, let Bryce Young learn for a couple years, or
Yeah,
one of those
absolutely.
teams like that. Yeah.
Because one thing is Jameis is a very positive dude.
Hmm.
He's goofy as hell, but I mean
Yeah.
he never really gets down. He's never gonna be a bad thing.
Mhm.
He had those you know, what college things, but those are I think a lot of that's I think the allegations against him were BS. You know, for what that's worth. But he has a clean. I mean, he's not, he doesn't get in trouble. He's a positive guy. He's not going to tear up the locker room in any way as far as being a bad apple. I mean, I don't understand why he has such a bad rap. I don't know. He's he's a likable
Yeah.
guy. I mean, he's gonna. I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't get hurt in that first year in New Orleans, he was balling before he got that season ending. That knee
Hmm.
injury. He was having an absolutely heck of a year.
Yeah. Uh,
So, but yeah, I mean, I think yeah, Cleveland. They're probably man. Yeah, they should
yes.
have definitely. I understand that he was the money and all that, but man, I don't care, man. This is the NFL. Like, if you're not able to perform at the
Hmm.
professional level that you needed, I don't care how much you're making. You gotta sit down.
Yeah.
Like he should have. There goes Dallas making a late run there. We'll see if see how we mess this up.
Yeah, there goes CD Lamb, uh, giving me my only my
Mm.
second loss in the fantasy season right now. Damn it! I had a big lead coming in this game, and my boy was
Did you?
talking to me. He's like, "I think you got me." I was like, "I don't know, man. You never know. CD might have a big game."
See,
And
I
sure
have a big
enough,
game instead that huge
eh,
ass game.
he has 13 catches, a buck 46, and now two
Mm.
touchdowns. Yeah, your Cowboys good first half, and then San Francisco came out in that third quarter
Yeah,
and just.
crushed them.
But now, little cornerbacks running into each other there. But now, yeah, now all of a sudden, if this extra point goes through, that's a 6 point
Yeah,
game and
6 point game, three
three
timeouts. See if they
three and
can
a
get the
half
ball
minutes
back.
left. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There it is. But yeah, so let's see how that ends for your Cowboys. Oh, what else happened today? I got my notes here. The Lions, good lord,
Oh my
uh,
goodness.
went nuts. And what, they scored 52, and that was through three
Yeah.
quarters. They didn't even
Yeah.
try in the fourth quarter, really. They
And
just sat on it.
that's without Jameson
Yeah,
out
and
with the
Jameson Williams, a suspension for a substance. He just accepted it, some performance enhancement. The Eagles' offense kind of woke up today. That
yeah,
can
he did.
happen when you play the Bengals
Yeah.
defense. Uh, and it's also helpful when you remember that you have Devontae Smith on your team and throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Tua
Yeah.
came back today. His return was spoiled by the Cardinals and Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Dolphins defense is a problem for them.
That's bad.
Yeah, they're
They should. There's no way they should have lost that game.
no. And then let's see, what else do I have here? The Jets lose to the Patriots. Man, look,
Yeah.
turns out Devontae Adams is not going to solve the problems,
No.
because their problems are more than one guy can solve there.
It's the Jets or the Jets.
Exactly. Yeah, the Jets
They're
remain the
just they're
Jets.
just bad.
Yeah,
Like
maybe
bad things
Patriots fans
happen.
might be mad. That might hurt their draft stock,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
uh, that's just crazy. Falcons completed the season sweep of the Bucks,
Yeah.
and that big. A lot of people talking. We of course we record this Sunday night. That Monday night game, Ravens beat the Bucks last week, and Mike Evans came in there nursing a hamstring injury, played anyway, re-aggravated it. And
Yeah.
then that late game down 10, they're still trying. And, I see both sides of the argument. A lot of people blaming not Raheem Morris. Right? Raheem Morris coaches the Falcons, right? Who
Yeah.
coaches? Todd,
Yeah.
Todd,
Top Bowls.
thank you. I was like, I'm looking at his face right
And
now.
Raheem Morris was the coach of Tampa at one
Yeah,
point.
that's what it was. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway,
Yeah.
a lot of peaks getting on him, saying, you didn't need to have your starters in. Of course, there was that nasty Chris Godwin injury freak injury. He's dislocated ankle. He's out for the year. But I also understand there was over 2 minutes left in that game. The Ravens defense has been known to blow leads.
Yeah. So why not?
And exactly. So it was a freak play.
Yeah. I mean,
Packers,
if it,
another
because you
walk-off win.
look at it, if
No, go
they,
ahead.
no, I'm saying if it works out, then he's oh wow, what a gutsy
Yeah.
win.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Way to grit it out. Way to never give up.
yeah,
But Packers, another walk-off win over the
yeah,
Jaguars as the Jags continue to struggle. Texans, a big division win against the Colts. Bills just looking they've regained their
house,
mojo. Yeah, beat the hell out of the
house
Seahawks.
in Seattle.
Chiefs, closer than you would think, win over the
Yeah,
Raiders, but they still unbeaten. And
still
then
undefeated.
the big time showdown between the 1 and 2 pick, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Not quite the shootout a lot of people thought it might be,
No.
but oh man, what an ending. After
Wow, the
the
walk off.
Commanders seem to choke away the game, the Bears
Yeah,
take the lead real late. The Commanders, a Hail Mary tip drill, insane
bat the
ending.
ball down.
Yeah, and they tried. There's all this stuff they're breaking down. One of the Bears players was shit talking the fans as the
Talking to
play was
fans,
going
he had
on.
to run. He had to run out to
Yeah, he
to
had to
the
run across the
play.
field to get to the plate, and I believe he is the one that tipped it backwards to a wide
Yeah,
open uh, Commanders receiver. Noah Brown caught the game winning
yeah.
pass, and no one was back there. He did his.
No,
Usually you see in these plays, there's everybody's got a job. You're trying to box out if you're a
but there
defender.
was
You're trying
nobody
to bat the ball
there.
down, and then you have a guy in front for the rebound. You got to have a back for the rebound, and
But it was
nobody was
so
back there for the
clean.
Bears. Noah Brown
No,
was just standing there, tip ball,
wide
and he just
open.
whoop, wide open.
I
Uh,
was like, what in the world?
yeah, the Commanders
Yeah,
continue to roll with Jaden Daniels. A great
yeah,
game for him. 326 of the air for him in that
yeah,
huge man. He threw the hell out of that ball at the end too.
yeah. He did.
Um,
Yeah, he did.
Huge
It
for
looked
them.
effortless.
hmm
Looked
And
very
then
effortless.
something from
Cra-
Thursday's game too. The Vikings lost their second straight game to now to
The
the
to
Rams.
Rams.
Rams
Oof.
got Cup and Nakua back, and Matt
Yeah.
Stafford threw 4 touchdowns immediately. That's a team that maybe watch out for at the second half of the season now.
Yeah. I mean, the West is still up
Mhm.
for grabs. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got an electric offense. If they're all healthy, yeah. Uh,
Exactly. That's a team, yeah, that offense, obviously Sean McVay's a great coach. Like you said, they're healthy. Williams is just a great back there.
yeah.
Um,
They're
so yeah, and then the Vikings maybe regressing to the mean there that everyone kind of thought they might be. Uh,
yeah. But
Not that
I mean,
Sam
there's
Darnold. It's not like he played horrible or anything.
no that face mask was egregious.
Oh yeah, and of course that's the big talking point. A big time sack toward the end of the game in the end zone, sealed the game for the
Yeah.
Rams.
But that was
Uh,
an egregious face mask.
Blatant face mask about 5 yards in front of the referee too, not just
Yeah. I was like,
the
what?
head ref, and
And
he
it's not
claims that he.
anybody. I mean, it's your quarterback. And I mean, as protective as they claim to be, and usually are about quarterbacks, and he got his whole head ripped off.
And that's the thing, and it's his job. If officials on every play, they have an assignment. These guys look for this. These guys watch this part of the field. The head ref stands back there, and he literally specifically is watching the quarterback
Yeah.
for fouls on the quarterback. And he claims after the game, he said he did not have the angle to see
To
the
see
face
that.
mask.
I was like,
How?
what?
His face got turned 360 degrees right in front
Dude,
of you, man.
wait.
If I'm a Vikings fan right now, I
Oh,
am
I'm pissed. I mean, they
livid.
may not have still won the game, but you
Exactly,
can't have the
exactly.
game
Yeah.
in like that, though. There's
No, yeah.
like that was blatant as hell.
No,
And there goes
yeah, like you
Dak
said,
trying to
oh, ooh, whew,
almost. Oh Lord.
Dak. Oh, Dak. Yeah. Yeah, as
But
the
man,
Niners, or
just
excuse me, the Cowboys have the ball back 3 minutes,
yeah,
down 6. Yeah,
you-
that's a, oof, yeah, that's rough if you're,
yeah, I
uh,
just knew that was getting picked. I'm so happy they dropped it.
yeah, it's, man, like I said, like we said, it's just one of those weeks in the NFL where,
Yeah, but
like you
I
said,
mean that was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how he missed
mhm,
that. There's no
mhm.
excuse. It was just not. It's not no question. It wasn't. He barely tapped his face mask, anything like that. I mean, we see more calls for the softer things, and the Alabama game on Saturday. I mean, we had they
Mhm.
didn't blow the whistle, and um,
Oh, that's
we smoke.
terrible
Betty
call.
Cook got smoked by LT Overton,
And
and
they called the unnecessary roughness,
yeah,
which
but
was
nobody had
a
bullshit.
it was a crap call. Yeah, and Kalen DeBoer, again, the rare moments he gets livid, he was livid for that. I was
Absolutely,
driving. I was on the road for the first
yeah.
half, and man, Chris Stewart,
I know
man,
Chris was pissed.
he is taking it to him. He is absolutely ridiculous. No one, and then they went down to Damian Squares, a sideline
Yeah,
reporter now for Alabama
yeah.
Radio, and they asked him, like, Damian, could you hear the whistle? And he's like, I'm standing right here on the sideline. He's like on
There
the
was no
side.
whistle.
He was on the side where the alleged,
Uh-huh.
the ref that blew the whistle blew
Uh,
it, and he's like, I didn't hear anything, man. So, and
yeah,
usually they give the defense some grace in those instances
yeah.
because they
None
know
was
how loud
given.
it is. It's 110,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah,
Brady Cook didn't usually also the quarterbacks, if they know the play's dead, they'll usually kind of spike that ball and kind of drop it to
yeah.
show the
He
defense,
was.
protect themselves, be like, nope, hey, play's over. He was holding on to the ball, looked like he was dropping back to pass.
That was for.
Oh, that'll
Yeah,
be a flag there, right?
should have been. Wow.
Oh,
Dang.
speaking of
Wow.
no flags, how is that not pass
Wow.
interference?
Jesus. And that was fourth down too.
Oh, that was fourth. That's interesting. Oh, they're out of their timeout. So let's see.
Uh,
Going back on.
uh,
Oh, it goes right
no,
through.
that's not
Maybe
a.
a feet tangle.
That's a good
Yeah.
no call. Unfortunately, look worse
Yeah.
live. You watch the
But
replay.
even
It's
then, I
not.
know that it was the feet getting tangled, but even then, he did kind of enter his space there.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah, I think you maybe go either way with that.
Yeah.
but it's still 2:43. So maybe the
2:43,
Cowboys
but you
defense
know,
can make a stop here and get the ball back with a little time. It won't be much. But
no, won't
let's
be
look at the
much.
standings real quick. NFL, just see where we're at, about the halfway point of the season.
Yeah,
Bills are just way ahead in the AFC East now.
yeah, for sure.
Steelers have a chance to take a game lead on the Ravens tomorrow night as they host the Giants, a Monday Night Football game. They should absolutely win.
Yeah,
Um, Texans, I mentioned that big win today. They're now 2 games up on the Colts. Chiefs unbeaten, slowly running away with that division.
oh
Broncos a
yeah.
good win today over, of course, they're playing the Panthers, but
Quietly, the Broncos are putting together
mhm,
a season.
they are. And then the Chargers, we knew the
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh effect. They had a good win today over somebody
a
who I'm
bad Saints team.
Bad Saints. That's it. Yeah, I was like bad Saints team, but a good win, and they have a winning record.
Yeah,
Commanders are in first place by half a game in the NFC East. The Lions that got that half game lead over the Packers. One up in the loss column. Falcons in the lead in the NFC South, and not only that, but with
yeah.
sweeping the Bucks now, that's
Sweeping the
huge.
Bucks, that's huge. That's
Because yeah,
huge.
that's your main competition there. Because it's not the Saints or Panthers.
No.
So you get now the Falcons have essentially almost a 2 game lead in the division because they're up.
So we'll see what they do
Yeah,
with it because we know this. If there's
yeah, yeah.
anybody that's known for losing leads, it's the
And then there's
oh
the NFC West. So who the hell knows? Because the Cardinals 4-4, Seattle 4-4, Rams 3-4. But we mentioned they got Cup and Nakua back,
yeah.
and now the Niners 3-4,
Then four looking like they're about to be four
looking
and
like
four.
they're about to go 4-4. So that's your crazy division. That and the
Yeah.
uh, that's gonna it. Maybe that and everything else, and then in the NFC North, that was a tough loss in more ways than one for the Bears too, because they could be 5-2 and right there in the mix too.
Right. Yeah, that
Um,
the NFC
mhm,
North is tough. I mean, everybody's
mhm.
started off the season
Yeah, but
about
honestly,
as good as you can expect. I mean,
yeah,
coming into the season, I really thought that was gonna be a two team race.
hmm,
I think a lot of people thought Lions and Packers, and man, everybody's above 500 right now in that division. So
yeah,
I think we're
crazy.
gonna have a fight.
Yeah, and looks, just about every division, with the exception of we mentioned the AFC East and then the West, AFC West, because the Chiefs unbeaten is kind of a good
That's-
race. This
yeah,
look what you have in the AFC North once again. You're going to have a Steelers and Ravens
yeah.
uh, fight for that crown. We
I
mentioned
mean, it's
Texans
looking
do
like
have it.
Houston.
Yeah, it looks like they
Yeah,
might pull away now that win over the
yeah.
Colts, and then Jags and Titans offering
But
nothing
the
there.
NF, but I
Mhm.
mean the NFC. I mean the East is wide open. The North is wide
Mhm.
open
Mhm.
still, and I think the South was probably the most locked up. As you could,
As I
as
guess, but
if
again,
the
like you said, the Falcons are so inconsistent, and
yeah they are.
but I
Because
think the worry there,
I
they
mean
still have a
they,
negative point differential in the season. So
yeah. I mean they're a team that went to. I mean, just the crazy the fact that last week at home got absolutely housed by the Seahawks, and then
Mhm.
this week on the road. I know it's a hurt Buccaneers team, but I mean, get a solid win there. I mean, they're just all over the place. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's it's crazy. And then we mentioned now that the 49ers, now the NFC West has four
yeah,
4-4 teams, and then the Rams are right there. They also have 4 losses and 3 wins because they've had a bye. But again, we
hmm
mentioned that they get their they get their biggest weapons
yeah,
back, and that's a
yeah,
dangerous team when they're well coached. So
yeah.
getting to the
So,
really fun part of the
oh,
NFL
absolutely.
season.
The only good thing about the Cowboys losing this game, at least it gets me to 2-2 on our week on our picks column because I have -4. So that was good.
uh,
That
yeah, I was
was
about to say
good
I
for
went
that,
0 for
especially.
yesterday, and I need the Steelers to cover tomorrow night to squeeze a win
Yeah.
out. But looking ahead to next week, see Houston visits the Jets on Thursday night. Your Cowboys go to Atlanta.
Mm,
Uh, Buffalo has a chance to really separate themselves in division. They host Miami.
yeah.
Um, let's see. Oof, Lord,
And man,
a
I just, I
terrible
don't,
game with New
man,
England at Tennessee. Jesus.
But anytime Tua steps on the field, I'm just nervous. Like,
Yeah, he and only one took one sack today. He played well, but yeah, you're just yeah, it's
and he doesn't
uneasy.
want. Well, I don't know why he doesn't want to wear that protective, the
The guardian
extra.
cap, yeah,
Yeah, just dude, take all the precautions, dude. You're walking like, oh man, it's just crazy.
it's crazy. And not a lot of marquee games on the schedule next
No,
week.
it's not.
Looks
But
Denver at
that's
Baltimore is suddenly kind of an interesting game.
it is an interesting game.
Uh, Chicago at Arizona is a game between two. Like we said, Arizona got to 4-4 today. Chicago's still winning the
Yeah.
record. And then your premier game is definitely Detroit at Green Bay next week.
Oh, absolutely,
Uh, that
absolutely.
the
That should
primetime
be a
game's
fun one.
not looking strong. Indy at Minnesota, yeah, that could maybe, but
But
yeah,
but what? I want to know what was the thinking going into the season with that.
yeah, right. Because Minnesota was not really expected to
No, because I
be
mean,
much, and it's not like JJ
unless they want to,
McCarthy was a
unless they want
big
to get
time
JJ
pick.
McCarthy a primetime slot to see
I
how he does.
guess.
I don't
I
know,
mean, I
but
understand Anthony Richardson them wanting to get him the spot,
yeah,
but yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's not like there was high expectations either way going into the season. So I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
And
Maybe they
I
just
don't
wanted
know
to
if we're
give.
in. Yeah, I don't think we're in the flex part of the year either. Um,
Oh man, yeah, I don't know how that exactly works with that. Where they thought that was a good one. Because even going in like, yeah, I mean Lions Packers. We knew that that was the premiere of the North going into the
mhm.
season. Like I'm NBC, I'm getting that game.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It's weird.
it's weird, but
Um.
let's move off football. World Series, of course, start this week. Your Yanks tough trip to first two games in
Oh
LA.
man,
Game one,
that.
Freddie
Oh
freaking
my God.
Freeman, man,
Good
walk off
Ali.
grand slam, first time in uh, World Series history. There was a walk off grand slam, almost
Yeah.
what 20 or what 30 some years to the day. Kirk Gibson's walk off home
Yeah.
run for them.
Yeah.
Kind of not quite same. Freddie wasn't as old as Kurt, and
Right.
wasn't as
But
badly, but hurt guy that they're like he can't really run the bases, but he man first. I said to myself when he came up in that spot, I'm like Freddie's going to swing the first pitch.
oh
Freddie's
man,
he's a first
dude,
pitch swinger, and that he got that fastball and
dude, I don't even
crushed
know
it.
why. And this is horrible. I don't know in-game management. Uh,
Hmm.
'Cause first of
Yeah,
all,
questionable management for sure.
yeah, I mean, Cortez hasn't pitched in months. He hadn't touched the ball. He hadn't been on the plate at all. So his first thing, I mean, he's going up against Otani first. I'm like, why? Why is he brought in for this situation? Like, why are you putting this man in this situation? He got out of that one. I'm thinking, phew, got him to fly out there. Got
Hmm.
him off the ground. But yeah, I mean, this, I don't know. And the load the bases up for Freddie Freeman. I mean, it just, and it wasn't any questions. As soon as I touched the bat, gone.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
that first.
last night, I mean, Yankees fought back a little bit, but they got down
Uh,
early. But,
Yeah, Otani exited with that injury. That's the
but
big
it looks
story
like
coming
he's
out of
okay.
that. Yeah, it looks
But it
like he's
looks like
okay.
he's
There's some.
okay.
If you're the Yankees right now, what you need Aaron Judge to show up.
Man, absolutely horrendous series.
Yeah, it
He
was
had
rough
a
for him,
he
especially
had a
when your
rough,
other guys are standing, especially
yeah,
Juan Soto.
Stan. I mean,
Jesus, man.
man, Soto and Stan are putting up numbers. I mean, even the guys that haven't played well, been hitting well, are showing up. Volpe showing up.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, man, Aaron Judge, we need you, buddy. And they
Hmm.
always say series isn't over till you lose a home game. Until the road
Yeah.
team wins on. Man, but
Oh,
it's
and here they
tough.
come. Yeah, here they come now. Three straight in the Bronx starting Monday
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
Uh, the Yankees obviously would prefer to sweep it, but you need at least two to give yourselves a
Yeah,
chance going
definitely need
back
at
to
least
LA.
two
Yeah.
for sure.
Obviously, if you only win one, then the Dodgers
Yeah,
are taking it. But yeah,
yeah,
Juan
it's
Soto,
tough.
man, he is earning himself a damn $1 billion
Man,
contract.
man, back up the Brinks truck.
Yeah,
And
if you,
man, if the Yankees screw this up, and man, they should have already had the contract in the damn bag, like,
Mhm,
because now the price tag just went up, skyrocketed. I mean, it
mhm.
was gonna be high enough if you had locked it up during the season, but now it's through the roof, and everybody and their mom's gonna step in. The Mets will
I
are
was about to
gonna
say, and there's
say,
only a few teams that could probably really afford it, but damn it,
yeah,
yeah, I don't often root for the Yankees to sign big guys, but if y'all don't let him go to the damn Mets or the Phillies,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
need that. I need that fucker to stay away from the
yeah.
NL East. Uh,
Oh, yeah, it's not what you've already seen it once. I mean, he won the World Series with
yeah,
the Nationals, so
exactly. I don't want him back there.
yeah,
But
yeah, but
yeah, no, it's the hype we mentioned. It's the World Series that the MLB
yeah,
wanted, kind of needed, and both games have lived up to the hype. They've been great
oh
games.
yeah. I mean, that
Uh,
game one, I mean, was absolutely amazing.
insane. Yeah, insane.
And then
S-
game two, not as much luster, but I mean, it still came down to the last, last at bat. The Yankees had the bases loaded there.
mhm,
And Judge,
mhm.
yeah. So
But yeah, right
yeah,
now, if they had been winning these games, Soto would probably be your favorite for
oh,
MVP
absolutely,
right now. As it is, maybe Freddie Freeman. He had another home run in game two. So,
yeah, man,
uh, which I love to root for him. It's tough seeing him do it in the Dodger uniform as opposed to a Braves uniform, but hometown guy.
yeah.
I'm just happy for Freddie either way.
Right.
But
He's
yeah,
he's a good dude.
yeah, as about as good as a dude, and especially with his kids' health troubles and health
Oh,
scares this
absolutely,
year.
absolutely.
Easy guy to root for.
Oh, for sure.
Uh,
Class act, good guy. Yeah.
yeah, but game three we mentioned Monday night. Let's see
That's
who's on the bump. We
that's
got
make or break.
yeah
Make
Clark
or
Schmidt.
break on the.
Yeah, Clark Schmidt going for the Yanks, and Walker Bueller looks like he's getting the ball for the Dodgers, and he's
Mm,
struggled. Coming back
yeah.
from injury this year. So definitely, if you're the Bronx Bombers, definitely you want.
You hopefully tee off on him, get it out the way early, so
Yeah,
there's no late no, no we need a game without any late dramatics if you're the Yankees,
yeah.
because obviously the first two did not go our way at all.
Yeah, yeah. You want a
Um,
easy win, a long game.
yeah,
You want Aaron Judge to wake up,
yeah.
because
Hopefully, you get some confidence at home, and
his
you want to
playoffs.
short, you want to, because you don't want to, this is seem like the type of game where you run a lot of pitchers in there. So hopefully, you get a
Mhm.
big lead, so you don't have to run a bunch of pitchers in there, because
Yeah,
it
but
seems
a
like the type
rough.
of game that you might,
You mentioned a rough series for Judge so far. 1 of 9 with six
yeah.
strikeouts. A rough
And,
overall playoffs so far too.
yeah, it
Just
really
for him.
is. I mean,
Mhm,
he struggled against the Guardians.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he's
been
only hitting
tough.
150 in the playoffs here.
Yeah.
Only a 605 OPS. So you
Hmm.
need him going if you're the
Gotta
Yankees.
get him going. Hopefully, he has
Uh,
some confidence. But 'cause
yeah.
everybody else has really showed up. If
Hmm.
there's anybody that you would think wouldn't show up at time, Juan Carlo. But man, G's been
Hmm.
out of this world with that deep ball.
Yeah, man, he has been
He's putting up crazy
crushing
numbers.
these balls. Yeah, between him and Soto are carrying that team right now. But
No,
again,
absolutely.
as we said, absolutely living up to the hype so far.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
Have
let's
everything
move
you
on real quick
hope for.
to let's start to wrap up here. We're approaching 2 hours. Didn't think so, but NBA season started this week.
Yeah.
Um, nothing, uh, crazy from the first week.
No, I mean, I think that's
Uh,
the biggest thing. It was cool seeing Bronny and Bron in the game at the same time
yeah,
with
and then
Ken Griffey Jr. and Senior in the crowd. That was pretty cool.
yeah, that's cool.
Um,
And then they've also announced that he will split time between the G League team and the Lakers, which
As you would
yeah,
expect. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Good. A little bit of a light story. The Heat unveiled a statue of Dwayne Wade today, and
dude, horrible, absolutely
uh,
terrible. Who is that?
it does
Who
not
is
look like
that?
Dwayne Wade. I don't even know.
I mean, I
Looks
mean,
kind of like
it's
Thanos almost.
yeah. I don't know who that is. Like I posted a picture of it. I was like, who
Mm,
is this? Like it's not Dwayne Wade.
yeah, that's a. Uh, mm. Eh,
There's some good ones out there, but that's not one of them.
that is not one of them. Yeah, that's
I'm
along the
like,
lines of that Cristiano Ronaldo statue from a few years ago. That's
yeah.
pretty bad.
It's like if he was not wearing the three jersey, like you would not know who that was. It's
Mhm,
just some random guy. Someone saw my when I posted says James Posey.
mhm.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's
that's funny.
it's crazy. But yeah, just nice to have the NBA back as always.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah,
even if
well,
I still am of the opinion that I think they should start the season on Christmas Day and
yeah.
go from
I
there and
mean,
have the
that's
finals
when people
in
really,
August. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's when people really jump on around Christmas time,
Hmm.
man. But talking about the NBA, your Pels, man, they can't catch a break with health.
Oh man, yeah. Hours before the first game, uh, announced Zion Williamson will miss it because of illness, and then new star Murray, Dejounte Murray, fractured his hand. He's already had surgery. He's be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Man, that's
You guys
blown
can't
out
catch a
today by
break.
the Blazers. Although they got a
Yeah,
nice win the other night.
yeah.
Actually against the Blazers as well. A huge late shot for Brandon Ingram. Got to his little elbow, little turnaround over
Hmm.
Simons there, hit a big shot, and then the game sealing block by Zion got the block for the credit, but Herb Jones just ate that man up and had
Yeah,
his
it
hand on
did.
the ball as well. Man, if he continues to play at that level and he doesn't finish at least top two in that defensive player of the year vote, and I'm going to start
Give him that award.
throwing things, man. Herb
I'm
is the
tired. I'm
best
tired of
defender
seeing.
in the.
I'm tired of seeing Rudy Gobert win that damn
Right,
award.
just because he's talking. Speaking of Rudy, got another big contract extension this week. I don't know what Minnesota's doing with that man. Look, Rudy
That's a
he's a solid defensive player. Let's not no, there's no debating that. But man,
to
it's tough
start
to
the
give that
season.
man that much money.
They're missing it. To start how they started the season, and I mean
Hmm.
they're still figuring things out, but they're definitely missing Cat right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit rougher of a transition to that new
Transition.
roster for
Yeah,
them. The Knicks had a bad first game too, but
yeah, they
uh,
did against
rebounded in
Boston.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
uh,
ugly.
Boston hit a what a weird game too. Boston hit an NBA was a franchise record, I think, or it was an NBA or
Hmm.
franchise record for threes, or
Yeah.
tied it, and then trying to break it, missed 13 threes in a row to end the game. They had that second unit in there just throwing up
Yeah.
bricks. But 3-0 start for the Celtics, 3-0 start for the Cavs, too, 3-0
Yeah.
start for the Lakers and the Thunder. Um, so yeah, like I said, NBA is back. It's fun. Doesn't really, nothing too big until around Christmas time, really.
Right. That's when it
Uh,
really
yeah.
jumps off, and but yeah, I mean it's just some good to watch.
Hmm.
Midweek is some weekend games, but it's very and our football frenzy. Every now and again catch NBA parts of the games at least. So
Hmm.
it's always change of pace, something good to watch. Trying to think. One thing I will say. We t- we were talking about with the NFL, but wh- why do teams? And I want to talk about this earlier. Why do teams keep trading with the Chiefs?
Oh man,
What
I'm
is it?
glad you
What
brought that up.
DeAndre Hopkins? Like what? No, absolutely not.
So the
Why? Don't even
piece
answer that
there,
phone call,
the piece they are missing on offense for like what, like a conditional fifth rounder, 6th round pick too.
dude. they're
The
like,
piece they're missing because they had the speed still with
yeah,
Worthy and the other guy. There's another speedster there, uh, and
but
then they
they're so
obviously.
beat up right now. Wide receiver, what's his
Hmm.
name's out for the like. Their people are out. Let them suffer. Like you don't
Yeah,
help them out by
quit
giving
trading
them.
them. Got exactly what they need. They needed another possession receiver, a big guy that can make third, like big third down catches. A guy
Yeah.
to take the heat off Travis Kelsey a little bit because teams have been kind of shutting him down. He had a big game this week,
Hmm.
but and then all of a sudden, you know what? Yeah, we'll take a conditional fifth rounder for him. Sure, like
Dude,
man,
I'm not, and
uh,
not even the NFC team. You're in the AFC. What are you doing?
yeah,
Like, stop it.
yeah,
People stop trading with the Chiefs. What?
yeah.
They're, they're, they're,
It's
you want to try to stop them from winning three in a row, not help them. My
I mean,
goodness.
Tennessee, I guess their front office just loves to try to
Doesn't.
make the worst trade possible because they had
But
and
what was the point of bringing in DeAndre Hopkins if that's what you're gonna do with them?
I don't know. And Ravens fans in particular online this week were pretty pissed about it because the Ravens tried to get Derrick Henry at the deadline last year
Yeah.
and seemed to have a trade before the Titans backed out at the last minute,
Yeah.
only to let him go for free in free agency. So
Yeah.
what are you doing
I,
if you're the Titans front office
yeah. What
here?
is like? I'm not even like
Because
the Chiefs call.
the Chiefs are
The Chiefs
desperate.
call. I
At the
mean, you
very
see
least, pull
that,
something else out of them.
dude. Yeah. I mean, you lost what's the name for the year.
Mm-hmm. Rice, Rasheed
Uh,
Rice, yeah.
Yeah, Rashi Rice is out for the year. You still have Worthy, but everybody else has been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Pacheco's been hurt at times. I mean, they desperately need a number one wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and you give away. Now I understand he hadn't had it, but Tennessee done not exactly. Man, but how do you do that? Like, what are you doing? Like,
No,
how
yeah,
does that
it's.
happen? And like, if I'm the owner of the team, and I mean, I don't know, if he's a hands-on guy or does he let his GM do the
Mm-hmm.
work, or how that works. But bro, you gave away Derrick Henry for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You gave DeAndre Hopkins away for basically nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still trash. Like what?
Yeah, you,
Oh, if I'm a
yeah,
Titans fan, I'm wondering like, what in the world is going on?
you fired Mike Vrabel, who by all accounts is one of
Yeah,
the better coaches in the league.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
And then
if
and then
yeah,
on top of that, I mean, you gave up on Malik Willis after like two games. Like,
and he's
and
shown in
thought that,
he's shown when he's appeared for the Packers, and he
yeah,
played a little bit today too, that he's
yeah,
got
he
talent.
had the end of. I mean, he put up a heck of a pass at the end of the game there because he was playing at the end there.
Yeah,
Man, they're just. I don't know. They did. They when I saw that, got that ESPN alert. I'm like, dude, you guys just totally pissed me off completely.
yeah.
Like you just like, and that. I mean, it been something that maybe if you move, Kalen Burke, Burke from Arkansas, he's a potential, but he hadn't really done much in the league. But
Hmm.
dude, you give away a All Pro wide receiver for absolutely nothing. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like
and I
what?
understand that his best days are behind him, but still, like I
But
said,
still,
if the Chiefs, because
it's
the Chiefs are the ones that need him,
yeah.
you can
You
get
get
something.
something out of that.
They can be when they say that we'll give you this conditional fifth, you can go and what else? Like you got
Yeah.
a second
You need
something,
him.
like yeah,
You need him.
pull something, yeah. So yeah, that Titans front office can go
Uh,
to hell for that. On behalf of the rest of the NFL, fuck you guys. Like you said, Greg, quit trading with the Chiefs.
like they're not your friends.
Yeah.
They're,
Uh,
you
but yeah, I
you
think
don't want to see them win three in a row.
no, we don't. I think that's a good place to wrap it up,
Yeah.
though. So what's been done up real good for you?
Done up real good this week. It's kind of just a normal, nothing too.
Mhm.
I don't know, nothing. It was just I guess a whole week, nothing too
Mhm.
crazy, but I guess good. Alabama looks a little better there, bounce back there. So I guess we'll go with that for now. How about you?
Uh, I will say it. I don't know if I've ever talked about it before on here, but my wife and I joke a lot that the best money we've ever spent is our we got Tempur-Pedic mattress, and this morning it was really big for us. You know, the kid, he's with his grandparents, my wife's parents, for the day. You know, like I said, we worked a late night event last night we had at the venue. We didn't get home till 5, 6 in the morning, something like that, pretty late. And I just knocked out and
Yeah.
woke up at, I don't even know. She said I woke up around noon, 12:30, something like that this
Hmm.
morning, and or today, and I felt refreshed because that mattress.
That
You
matches.
you don't have a bad night of sleep on it, man. So
Nice.
I
Yeah.
will agree if you know can get the monthly payment plan and all that, and you need a good solid
Mhm.
mattress in your life that you know you're not moving for a while or at all
Yeah.
for a while. I will not a sponsor, but I will gladly go to bat for them, man. Get
That's
yourself a
an
good.
investment. That's a mattress is an investment because it's not something you
Mm-hmm.
change out very often. So
No, and think of how much time, hours of our
you
lives we
spend in
spend on. Yeah,
bed. Mhm. Supposed
yeah,
to spend eight. I mean, a lot of us don't, but you're supposed to
yeah.
technically get 8 hours of
Mm-hmm.
sleep a
Mm-hmm.
night. Which in that case, why not have the best that you can get? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
important. I mean, a bad night's sleep can throw off for everything for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my donut real
Yeah,
good. That
that's
mattress.
huge, especially as we get older.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking with the security guards last night, joking about that. Man, the other day I went to pull my kid out the car to, I was taking wherever, got him out of his car, so he damn tweaked my shoulder or something like, God. So it's those
Yeah,
little things that
yeah,
when
absolutely.
20 years ago when we're in college, we're not thinking we're ever going to be talking about the
Yeah,
mattress that we're sleeping on with such enthusiasm, but
but it's huge.
it's
It's a
huge.
huge.
Hmm.
It's a big investment because I
Hmm.
mean, if yeah, I mean, it's you. I mean, we got a nice one, a hotel type mattress.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, we got that last year, and before that, I mean, we had the mattress before that for well over a decade. So I mean, it's not
Hmm.
like you change out mattresses very often, but
No.
so yeah, I mean, it's a good investment. It's definitely something you're gonna get your worthwhile money out of for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah. The only negative it is, as the dad, even with the king size mattress between the wife and the dog and the kid, you only
Oh
get your
yeah,
little slice on the end
yeah, you
there.
get a little
But
sliver. Yeah, you get a little sliver.
but it's a
Yeah,
comfortable sliver.
absolutely.
Damn it, it's a
It is a
comfortable sliver.
comfortable sliver. Yeah, luckily I have older kids. I mean,
Hmm.
my, I think my daughter, she probably stayed in our bed till about 3, and then
Hmm.
finally, my son probably about the same. First couple years, it was rough. They
Hmm.
took over the bed and slept crazy, and man,
Uh, yeah, our
yeah,
kid, he's pretty good about staying. We actually just recently converted him to his little toddler bed too, so
yeah,
um, he's pretty good. He's still getting used to it. Doesn't necessarily fall out of it so much as he kind of slides feet first
yeah,
out of it, and then we if he wakes up, so a lot of times you can just pick him up, put him right back in bed, and he's knocks out. But sometimes, yeah, to get
right.
him to sleep at night, we'll have him with us, and I will say, at least he takes up space, but for whatever reason, he just loves to
She
like
just,
kick my wife and mess with her more than
ah,
me. So,
that's funny,
uh, but
dude. Like
no.
my
Uh-huh.
my son, like one day he got in my bed like. I don't know, my wife was out doing something, and he just came in there and went to sleep. Man, he's tall. He's like 5'4" already at 10. So he's a big dude. But he's a terrorist when he sleeps. That food cannot like he kicks. And he's always been like that. He kicks, throws himself. I'm like, dude, I don't even know how you get sleep moving this much. Like, it's crazy. But he's always been like that. Like then my wife's pregnancy, he like almost kicked her uterine lining just
Oh,
without
oh,
and he hasn't changed. He has not changed at all. He's
oh
still
man.
sleeps like a maniac. So
Yeah, that's our kid, man. Our son, he's just not a still sleeper. He is all over, even like in the crib, and he is
yeah.
just always.
It's like,
He
how are you
does,
getting any rest with all this
yeah, right.
movement?
He is not. uh he just never is in the same position as he was
That's funny,
when.
right?
Except for I will say when he naps during the day,
Yeah,
that is when he is still. Like you put him if like he falls asleep on the couch or something like that, and you might move him.
yeah.
Whatever you put him in, he's gonna be in that same spot when he wakes
Mm,
up for his nap. But at
that's
night,
nice.
nah,
Now
he's
he terrorist.
yeah.
That's
Uh,
funny.
but yeah. But once again, folks, that does it for us. Thanks for listening. As always, subscribe, give us a good ratings, tell your friends
For
about us, tell
sure.
your rich friends about us, tell your
Absolutely.
get somebody to sponsor us out there. We will take anybody right now, just about anybody. Yeah,
Yep.
we'll see. But be sure to listen to all the great podcasts in the Alabama Take family of podcasts. And as I
For
mentioned,
sure.
if you yourself got some idea out there and you feel like scratching that podcast itch, Alabama Take or at gmail.com, hit Blaine up, put your idea there. He'll let you know. Check out the AlabamaTake.com for all the columns, our taking bets. You can see us struggle this year. Kind of struggle year for
All
us,
over the
but
place. Yeah.
all over the place. Yeah, I think I got a little too cocky, and the gambling gods smited me today. But
And then
oh man,
they'll humble you real quick.
they will. Oh damn, watching the replay right now. That's Rashad Bateman drop. Man,
Oh,
I guess it had to be Lamar. Oh, I didn't see Lamar, man. Right in the face mask, man. Come on,
oh,
Rashad. You a first round
oh,
pick.
yeah.
Hmm.
But dude,
Uh,
when you guys scored and it was still like 3 minutes left or 2 minutes and something left, I was like, dude, there's way too much time. You just had a feeling.
exactly. And like I said, it's been a real banged up secondary, so you knew it was going to be
Yeah.
rough. And the way Jameis is playing, but man, I wonder if they'll show it here, that Kyle Hamilton drop.
Oh my
And,
God, right
and
in
that
his
Kyle
head.
Hamilton has been the star of that secondary,
Yeah.
I will say. But here it is right here. I mean, it
Dude,
looks
I
like
was
he's
like,
running the route.
yeah. But I was like out, so like I
Mhm.
was man. But the guy X him in the car, so I was like, well, let me flip it to that real quick because I see it's super cool. It's coming down to the wire. Um, the dude, it was on the Cleveland side. Man, they
Oh
were
yeah.
so emotional. I guess their radio dude just died or something. So like they were basically crying in the booth, and it was an emotional day in Cleveland.
Ooh,
Like they were
ooh.
saying, oh, he must have knocked the knocked the pass away from Hamilton. But yeah, it was emotional for them, man. But yeah, man, that was part of my parlay, and I just had Ravens money line. I thought, man,
Man, the Browns love to play them tough. The Cleveland
yeah,
fans
they
love
do.
to beat the Ravens.
Oh yeah,
And then
they
Lamar. I mean, they had a shot on this last play. Lamar threw it. His
yeah
receivers couldn't get there. Um, Maybe Lamar might have thrown a little wide in that little Hail Mary attempt. But he was mad about
yeah,
this
but
loss.
yeah, it was
But I
just
will say that the one positive about losses like this is usually when they rebound and pull off another
oh
5 in
yeah,
a row or whatever. So
yeah. And you're just gonna have days like that after you were a little streak in the NFL. I mean, you it usually gets ended by the weirdest teams.
yeah, the NFL is just that league, man.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that'll do it for
Yep.
us. We will see you next week, Greg, buddy. Until we talk again next Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Another big weekend of college football, and then
Oh,
we'll see
definitely.
what happens in the World Series.
For sure.
But everybody else, keep it done up real good yourselves out there. All right, y'all.
Yep.